Hello, Internet, and welcome to DaebakCast episode 124. This is the number one K-pop podcast not hosted by Eric Nam. That covers all things K-pop, Korean culture, and the Korean music industry. If you're wondering who these two people are, I'll introduce them a bit later. We kind of had to do an audible this week because Nate is away on a sort of get-together with his gaming friends out in Chicago. Jacob's still over in Korea, and I think he's at a birthday party or something, so he can record this weekend. So we're going to get into some album reviews, do a bit of background on our two guests here. But before that, if you're into what we do here on Truly Daebak, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/trulydaebak. You'll get to see all our album reviews, all our... We haven't done an unboxing in a while, but if we ever do that, sure. We do a podcast on Produce X101, so you have a lot to look forward to. We do stuff on Luna. Just a lot of content. If you want to look that up, you can listen to it audio versions on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. If you like to listen to it while you're working, or if you just don't like seeing our beautiful faces, follow us on Twitter at Truly Daebak, and as always, join our Discord. It is mucho lit. I'm your host, Andrew Lee, and to introduce our guests, first, her claim to fame is Yua stole her phone at an Oh My Girl concert. The queen of song ratings, and our the first Truly Daebak mod on Discord, Sam. Say hi.
Hello. Yeah.
Just introduce yourself. I don't know.
I'm Sam. I'm the Truly Daebak mod. I do the song ratings. Yua did steal my phone at the concert, as well as other Oh My Girl members. But yeah.
That's still your icon. That's still your icon on Discord. And yeah, she is a crazy person that likes math. I don't know who actually likes math, and insists on doing all these song ratings and like doing all these averages and statistics on it. So she does a lot of work for Truly Daebak, especially on Discord behind the scenes. So we want to
for free.
For free, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, hey, I don't get paid to do this, so I have to pay. If anything, I get a net negative off this because I have to pay for like my Illustrator. We have to pay for like the podcast hosting servers and everything. So yeah. Oh well. Anyway, our second guest of honor, a K-pop song is not a certified banger unless he says so. The Lord of the Snacks, Barron.
Hey guys. Happy to be here, filling in at last minute a little bit, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we will see how this goes. We actually, it's good that at least we've all met up in person, despite before doing all of this, because I forget if I told you guys, like when we started doing DaebakCast, we actually, Nate, Jacob, and I had never met until like 6 months after we actually got to know each other. So like in Toronto for Card. So at least, yeah, we know each other like in real life. I know you guys aren't just some random like FBI agents trying to shut us down or something.
I mean, we could be, but
I mean, yeah, you do live in Virginia, so.
Yeah, I'm by DC. So.
Please don't shut us down. I swear I'll like YG. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so we're I should probably do my three things since that's my normal sort of stick. I'll try to keep it short since we have a lot of other stuff to get to today. So, number one, like I said, this is my first time hosting the DaebakCast, surprisingly, after 124 freaking episodes, because there was never a time that Nate or Jacob would both be absent from a show. So this is uncharted territory right here. So this is going to be interesting. Number two would be, I actually got a really nice pickup recently, just in the mail. Today. So everyone in Discord should know my favorite style of music, I guess, lately is just been like city pop and just like really old like Japanese style music. So I had to get this physical copy of Neon by Yukika. It has a really, like, the CD looks like a vinyl and everything. So I'm usually not big on collecting CDs lately just because I'm saving money, but this is a promotional single that you can't buy in stores, so I had to buy it when I saw it on eBay. And number 3, just some sports stuff. NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals are getting pretty interesting. Toronto has a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. They got them right where they want them.
Do you think Durant's gonna come back?
Maybe if Durant doesn't come back, they're screwed. Like if Durant doesn't, like Durant is such a big part of their offense that they need at this point. Like even if he's not 100%, they need Durant back. But I mean, I wouldn't mind if Toronto wins just because, I mean, I obviously being a Celtics fan, I'm not supposed to like Toronto, but they have Jeremy Lin, and that'd be crazy if Jeremy Lin gets himself a ring. Like, he'd be the first Asian American. Well, he's already the first Asian American to play in the NBA Finals. And for him to be the first Asian American to win an NBA Finals or just get a championship ring would be awesome. Stanley Cup Finals aren't going so good on my end. The Bruins are down 3-2. That's why we had to do it today, because tomorrow I'm going to be too busy yelling at my TV. Hopefully, by the time this goes up, hopefully we'll find out if we're getting a Game 7. But I hope so. I really hope so. I want them to win so bad. Anyway, those are my 3 things. We've done all the intro stuff. Let's get into the reviews. So first on the docket, we are doing a review of Wooju Sonyo's special album titled For the Summer. So for those that don't know, Wooju Sonyo is a 13 quote unquote 11 member girl group under Starship Entertainment. They had a comeback earlier this year with their song La La Love. So this is a summer comeback that they're sort of putting out there as a special album. So I guess how we could do this, I'll just introduce all of the songs, and then ladies first, I guess. Sam, you'll read off first, then Barron, and then I'll close it out. So,
I go first.
Yeah, I'm throwing you guys right into the right into the fire.
Oh boy,
sink or swim. Okay, starting us off, we have the lead single off of this mini album entitled Boogie Up. So, Sam, what were your thoughts on Boogie Up?
Well, first off, I thought this was possibly one of their weakest title tracks. I mean, like, I like cute stuff. Like, I like my cute girl groups, but I mean, it's a summer song. I mean, yeah, the chorus is, I don't know, like I'm not a fan of like kind of drop choruses. It's one of my biggest frustrations.
As a general sort of thing, or just like specific styles of drop chorus?
Just really in general. Like, I think it's just been so overdone in K-pop, especially lately, that I'm just like, anytime it happens, it's just an eye roll now. So whenever they like do something more with it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, it was just like it dropped, they're dancing. I always hear the clap because they clap in it, and it's like anytime I hear the song, I hear the clap with it. And then I guess like specifics of it, I wasn't really a fan of Exy's rap in this, which, like, I love her, but in this song, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. I don't know. This comeback, me and her, we weren't clicking. I don't know, but and then what else? Like, overall, the song, it wasn't crazy. It was possibly my least favorite on the whole album.
Wow. I mean, I understand, but man, you're not mincing your words on your like first. What a way to endear yourself to the Wooju Sonyo fans.
And I love them too. Like, that's,
I understand definitely.
The sad thing, but I didn't like the music video, the styling. It's just like, it's such a miss. Like, for one, like, I understand safety shorts in K-pop, but they're just so obvious. They're so obvious, and like in the music video, it's like, well, okay, I don't know. It's
why do that type of concept if you still have to rely on safety short?
Yeah, like, I'm fine with it, like in live stages, like it makes sense. But like for a music video, I'm like, you have like the time to find shorts that fit appropriately, and like, and I don't know.
Like, and you're not getting like random people with weird angles that might show way too much or anything, because like it's just like the camera people that are like, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah,
and I mean, like, there's a lot of close-ups on their butts, like this comeback. Like, in the live stage, there were just this zoom in on a butt. I was like, okay, I didn't realize they were doing this.
We're going there. They're going there, I guess.
But it's still like cute. I like am so confused by the concept. And then at the end of the music video, they're like partying, playing beer pong. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
Wuju Sonyo playing beer pong.
And it's just them like playing beer pong. Like there's no like other friends there. I'm like, okay, I guess it's a fun time.
I mean, you know what they say, 11's company, I guess. So.
Well, it's 10, right? Yeah, because it's 3 Chinese.
Oh yeah,
so
10's
there's
company.
10.
So.
But yeah, I mean, like in like specifically like styling wise, I mean, I feel like I'm hammering them so hard on this. Like some of the members I think look great. Like Yorm, she looks great. She's my favorite. Bona looks great. Who else did I have?
Luda?
Luda, yeah.
I'm not a fan of the red hair. It's like
what?
But Yeonjung's, I think I said, I don't know if I say these names right. Her red hair looks amazing, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, she usually is just stuck to like darker hair color, so I kind of like the change a bit. She might have done red once in a while, but most of it's usually just been like some type of brown. Hello, kitty.
But yeah, and then like Exy's bangs, no, not a fan. But what
I was
can
gonna
you
bring
do?
that up later. Those are they're very questionable.
They're just so like heavy. Like I don't know.
So Barron, what
it's
are
like
your thoughts?
a lot of hair.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
I actually, so I'm not the biggest fan of them in general, as my scores in the song rating I think kind of indicate. But I really enjoyed the song. I think this is probably one of like my top 3 songs of theirs. Probably only after Babyface, which is like top tier song.
Okay. Usually when people say like top tier Wuju Sonyo, you don't. Not everyone says Babyface, but
to be honest, I didn't really care about them that much until Cooper told me to listen to Babyface.
Oh yeah, Cooper has made us like.
Yeah, Cooper is the Wuju Sonyo. Hey, me too, I guess.
I mean, it worked.
The Wuju Sonyo
it worked.
Stands, yeah.
I bought all their albums.
But so I really enjoyed the song. I actually quite enjoyed like the instrumental chorus, how there was like almost no vocals in it. Usually I'm not a fan of that style, but I thought it really worked well in this song. And I don't really know that many members. The music video was cool.
Same.
They all look good. Not really a whole lot of complaints. Yeah, it's like a very generic like summer album style. Like there's very little effort put into it, but I don't really blame them for that, and I'm okay with it, to be honest.
Yeah, like I feel like I went so hard on that. Like I'm fine with the summer comeback. I mean, it made sense for them to do this style and concept this time of year. Like I'm not expecting like the whole magical girl kind of style. So
yeah,
like it was fun. Yeah.
On my end, as someone that considers Wuju Sonyo to be one of, if not my favorite IOI branch, so to speak, it's probably, it's Wuju Sonyo and then probably like Chang'e and etc. in terms of my favorites. Again, I know it's sort of a summer release type album, but I live in fear every time they put songs like this out, like when they put Boogie up, when they did Kiss Me, when they did Happy. I just live in constant fear that one of these songs is going to catch on and then Starship's going to be like, yep, we're just going to throw your entire concept away because we like money. So that's like, I live in perpetual fear of that happening to Wuju Sonyo, and I feel like the reason why I fell in love with this group was that unique sort of electronic kind of magical girl chiptunesy sound. So, I mean, I don't mind them going away from it. It's nice as someone that really stresses like changing up your sound or just not being like one note at all. I do appreciate the change in it, but I feel like they could have done a bit more in terms of this release. In all honesty, like it just feels way too derivative of stuff I've heard from other girl groups. Like specifically, intro kind of reminds you of Likey. The pre-chorus build-up reminds me of Violetta by Eyes One. So there's just a lot of stuff I'm hearing from other groups just like all mishmashed into this one song, so it kind of loses the originality of it. It's produced by Wonder Kid, and it kind of explains maybe why I don't like it as much, because he did 101's Boomerang. But he also did the boys No Air, so I'm just like, it's like I don't know, it's just I don't, as someone that doesn't necessarily mind like drop choruses, like this one just feels super generic as generic can get in terms of drop choruses. And I guess another sort of thing that kind of worries me is I feel like the song being okay is just going to be completely overshadowed by how much people are going to like the visual and concept of it. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, they look so cute, they look so hot," and they just kind of just gloss over the fact that the song's like, eh. And I mean, I guess that's just K-pop in general, especially for girl groups. So
Yeah.
And as the sad truth of it is, yeah, unless you look like the visuals definitely overpower the actual music aspect of it. But I mean, I don't think it's weak necessarily. It's just definitely it's nothing that any other girl group hasn't done. I mean, I can concede on XE's bangs, but the one thing I don't concede on is the ponytail. As a fan of ponytails, like ponytail hairstyles, I just wish you wore it more. Just because the ponytail with the straight bangs look actually kind of looks nice. So that's the only acceptable way to wear it. The choreography is passable. I mean, like, Wuju Sonyo is not known for the crazy choreography, but I mean, they do have like a specific style. Like, there's like what they've been doing ever since Save Me Save You is they have this like nice sort of like every downbeat type of like motion that they do, like 1, 2, 3, 4, that they change like their sort of position type thing. So I guess that's Wuju Sonyo's choreography from now on. But yeah, go ahead.
And I was like, I feel like with a lot of their choreography, there's always, that one like point dance move, right?
Yeah,
like you remember, like you have like that, you've got the Save Me Save You, the La La Love. This, I'm like, what?
Yeah, the point choreography is like, yeah. And that's the thing, considering like girl group dances rely a lot on point choreography because they're not doing anything usually too crazy or technical. So yeah, not even having point choreography is definitely something that takes away from it, unfortunately. But I mean, I'm not gonna criticize them too much. It's a summer song. I don't expect crazy isolations and just like kick flips and shit and stuff like that. So it's fine.
I do like that part at the end when they do like the little circle and then like they dance around the circle.
That's the one thing that Wuju Sonyo does a good job of. Having like a crap ton of members means you can do a lot of interesting formations. But yeah, I just feel like they kind of have to utilize it a lot more often. So moving on to the album track, starting off with "Oh My Summer." So Sam, what did you think about this one?
So with this one, I really liked the instrumental for this a lot. I thought that was really cool. It was really fun. The one thing, like my biggest complaint was I just didn't like "this one's for the summer" part. Like I wasn't a fan of that, but there was something they did with the chorus. They like kind of did it short the first time, but then in the second half of the song, they like increased the length of it. I don't know how to explain it. I really loved it. It just like it really just settled in and it just kind of grooved. I really loved that. And then for this one, they did a live stage of it, and it was so much better than Boogie Up. Like it was a better song. The outfits were awesome. I don't know. I thought this should have been the title track.
Same. In all honesty, that's exactly my thoughts.
That's interesting.
Barron?
I thought it was good, but like I agree that the instrumental was fantastic. Like I'm a sucker for any sort of horn instrument, and they had some nice horns in this track. But a standing problem for me with Wuju Sonyo is their vocals. Like they can get a little bit annoying to me at times, and I felt like Sam was saying there's parts in this song that kind of brushed me up the wrong way a little bit. But overall, I did enjoy the song as well.
Yeah, that's the thing with Wuju Sonyo in terms of vocals. It's mostly just like Yeonjung and like maybe one or two other people in terms of like vocalists.
Daewon's really good.
Yeah, Daewon's good.
I was looking at like lyric videos and I didn't realize she was singing some of my favorite parts.
Yeah. So they have good vocalists. It's just, but again, being such a large group and having to rely on like less than a third of the group being like main vocalists, they tend to use a lot more like choral vocals, like this one's for the summer, like that type of thing. So, I mean, I like that stuff, but I can understand why it brushes people the wrong way. This song in particular is produced by Olipop, Caesar and Louis, and Haley Aitken. Caesar and Louis did Red Flavor and All Night, which totally makes sense in the long run. After hearing this, definitely has that sort of SM vibe to it, or I guess just necessarily, I guess the SM girl group vibe, or just that type of like funky type of sound that I get from those other two songs. So I see a lot of that DNA in here. Yeah, and I do agree with you, Sam, that this song would probably make for a way better single in terms of I guess one, it doesn't have a drop chorus, despite maybe like the chorus being a bit annoying with This One's for the Summer. I'd rather have some type of vocals instead of just with that many members. It feels like such a waste to just do drop choruses. Like there's a few people here that can sing. Why do you need to rely on such like weird like techniques in that sort of way? But yeah, the way I felt about the song is Oh My Summer almost makes Boogie Up a redundant like song in a way, because I feel like it does everything that Boogie Up does but better. That's ultimately like the way I see it. I just real quick though, I forgot to read Cooper's Boogie Up notes. I'll read his Boogie Up and then Oh My Summer notes. So for Boogie Up, Cooper, our resident Would You Sonyo fanatic, says, this is quite the change up off of La La Love, but I think it mostly works. I enjoy the vibe of the song a lot. The production has lots of cool synths and a fun beach guitar sound. The MV is a summer girl group MV, super colorful and fun locations. The choreo is cute and catchy enough. I overall think this is the weakest song in the album, though, even though I still enjoy it. Just quick note on where they filmed it. They filmed this in like Okinawa, which is like the go-to in Japan to like film like some like AKB48 does summer music videos there, or like when they used to do like all the bikini music videos, but they kind of went away from that. But yeah, Okinawa's like, that's like going to like Florida or like like for like I guess Asia, or just like that part of Asia. So interesting for them to film there. As for Oh My Summer, Cooper said, this should have been the title track for sure, so we're all in agreement here. It's just stronger in every aspect. Their vocals actually get to shine here, and I enjoy the chorus more. So yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement in terms of how much we like Oh My Summer way more than Boogie Up. So moving on to the next song called My Type.
Okay. So I'm going to sound like Jacob, but this was one of my favorites. I love this song. Like, it just makes me so happy. Like, I love just the cute, feel-good girl group songs, and I love this. Like, when they do the "Yeah, You're My Type" part in the chorus, I love it. And I think XE was really good in this, except for her, like, part before the bridge, where it just all of a sudden, like, just like there's like a breakdown. It's just so random, and they didn't need it, but it was only for like 4 measures. Like, it made no sense, but it was fine. And then like at the very end, they did like a chanting kind of thing. I was like, okay, we didn't need this. But I think like the first 2.5 minutes of the song are just like, I love it. The chorus, I love it. I could listen to this song on repeat.
I thought the first half was pretty good. This is probably my least favorite song on this EP.
Yeah.
It's not like a bad
second
song.
favorite.
It's not a bad song. Like, I don't dislike it, but the vocals where it's like my type, my perfect type, is just that was not working.
That's actually I don't like that. I didn't like that.
XE is definitely a love it or hate it type of thing, because she has that type of whiny voice thing going, a la Hyuna.
She's hit or miss. Like
that's it. Yeah, very hit or miss.
It wasn't working for me at all. And then that breakdown, that was, I don't know why that is in the song. It was really bad.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you, Barron, that this is sadly my favorite, my least favorite song on the album. Which sucks because it's done by Full Bloom. Full Bloom's usually the main producer for Would You Sonyo. They did all of the singles essentially up until this point, but it just sounds like, to me, this just sounds like this could have been any girl group, in all honesty. Like, if I just listened to this song, I wouldn't be able to pin down, oh, that's Would You Sonyo, in all honesty. I mean, some parts definitely in terms of how they use the synths, but the chorus definitely kind of just feels like paint by numbers to some degree. Yeah, I don't know. Full Bloom's kind of just been hit or miss sometimes. Like, they had a song that they did for Produce 48 that I wanted to like more, but just didn't end up liking as much. But I mean, like, what they've done with both, like, Save Me, Save You and La La Love at least were good. But yeah, this is another miss on that end. Cooper, on the other hand, says, this is the most Would You Sonyo sounding song. It has that space pop feel with some disco funk vibes while keeping the summer vibe. The bridge breakdown is also a nice change up. Overall, an amazing track. So Cooper's very much in your camp on that.
Not feeling that
one. Great song. That breakdown, no, it's a no.
Next, we're on to Let's Dance. So,
okay, I feel like I have the unpopular opinion on this one, but
I want to hear this.
I don't like this song as much. It's my like, if we're not counting Boogie Up, like, it's my least favorite. And it's not like it's a bad song, it's enjoyable, but it didn't click with me. I don't know. It's like the beginning sounds so hype. Like I'm expecting like, oh my girl, checkmate kind of hype. I don't get it. I mean, I will say Exy was phenomenal in this song.
Yes.
Loved her in this. Like this is where she shines, you know? And then, well, also I don't really like saxophone in pop songs, like that synth that I'm not a fan of it. Like any song that has that. Yeah, I know. Everyone's all about it. I don't know. I can't stand it. Something about it is just like grating to me. So to have that, I was just like, no. And like, yeah, this is the one song I don't think I could like sing. Like all the other songs, I remember how they go. This one, I don't remember it. Yeah.
Okay, I have like the exact opposite opinion. This is I think by far my favorite Would You Sonia song. Like
ever?
Of all the discography. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. This is one of the best songs of the year immediately. And then I've only grown to like it more since then. It like starts off like just super hype with the rap in the beginning, and it flows perfectly. And then the chorus where they add in the sax to the chorus, I like any song with saxophone in it, instant 10 for me.
Yeah.
And the chorus is just so good. It's one of the best choruses of the year, I think. And this is, I think, one of the best B-sides of the whole year. Like, it's got to be, like, up there with OMG Checkmate and stuff for me.
So this was produced by Most Pick, no wonder I love this song so much. They did La Vie en Rose by Eyes One. They did Maze by G Idol. They did Me by CLC. They did Focus by Kim Dong Han. They did Hocus Pocus by Bandit. They just been freaking killing it this year, essentially.
It makes sense when you list off all those other songs. And, like,
you don't like any of those?
No, it sounds a lot like all of them. Like,
yeah,
there's a
definitely.
connection.
And I like all those songs.
Yeah, I like all those songs. I'm putting Most Pick on the preliminary list for producer of the year at this point. Another song that would have been a great single, just like I'm a sucker for, like, again, like drops can get very tiring after a time, but when they're good, they're really fucking good, and this is amazing. I'm just a sucker for this like really like deep like house type drop with a sax and everything. Just again, it's not a sound that you really hear from Would You Sonia all too often, but I feel like it works well with them, despite it being a different. Like this is what I want in terms of innovation or just testing the waters for different sounds, other than just like making the same type of magical girl type thing. Cooper is very much in our camp, Barron, where he says, I've been waiting for Would You Sonia to release a Babyface sequel forever. They finally delivered, and it's so good. That corny sax in the chorus is amazing. I just love the whole sound of this. Also, Exy starting in the song is a nice change up. Yes, indeed. They do tend to get a bit formulaic in terms of how they proceed with vocalists, but I feel like, yeah, it works having Exy start off the song, since it's very, like, I guess it would work well with a rap line of hers. So, yeah, Exy finally gets her time to shine. Definitely. And closing out the album, we have Sugar Pop.
Okay, this one was my favorite on the album, which, once again, I was like, I feel like I'm going to be the odd man out on this.
Are you Nate or are you Jake?
Like, I love this song. Like, immediately when I first heard it, I was just like, this is exactly what I want. I don't know. It gave me kind of the same, like, feeling that Twice as Strawberry gave me earlier in the year. Like, it's just, like, cute, but this was more dancey, more pop, like, more upbeat. But it's just, like, it's just so cute. I just love it. And then Dawan's part when she does the You Make Me Crazy, it's just so good. Like, she doesn't shine. Like, they don't give her enough, I feel like that.
Yeah, you'd think there's enough for everyone to shine in a 13-member group, 10-member group, but yeah, that has been one of, like, their issues in terms of, like, not focusing on as many people as they should. But yeah,
I noticed she got some good distribution this comeback. I was looking to see.
I feel like she's one of, like, not in just, like, the vocal distribution in her lines. Like, I feel like she's sort of been one of, like, the visual standouts, or just, like, the focuses of the entire comeback almost.
So I remember during the Oh My Summer live stage, she got a lot of time on that, a lot of screen time, a lot of lines. I was like, okay, I understand Cooper's, because Cooper biases her. I never understood it. I was like, she's just kind of there. Now I'm like, okay, I get it. I see it now.
I have to watch this live stage now of Oh My
Summer.
The
live stage is worth watching, definitely.
The outfits are so good. Like, it's just, it makes you hate the Boogie Up ones more. Yeah. Let's see, what else did I have for this. Oh yeah, they do like a cool little like whispering thing right before the chorus, and it's like a creeping. Like I just think that's so cool. Yeah, and then all of a sudden the chorus just hits you, and you're just jamming. I love it. I love this song. Like, I love it. And then at the end, they do like the bridge. It kind of opens up, and it gets kind of quiety. I don't know words, but and then all of a sudden the chorus comes back like even harder than before, and there's like more vocal stuff going. I think this was such a cool song. I loved it. And I'm ready for you guys to be like, it's okay. Like,
no,
Barron,
I actually quite enjoyed the song as well.
Good.
Of course, I never really appreciated how good a rapper Exy is, but like,
yeah, you shit on her a lot. Oh, can we?
Almost everything she puts out is legitimately amazing. Like all of her lines, they're always some of my favorite parts of all the songs. And normally, like, I think I'm on record quite frequently as saying all girl group raps make songs worse. But I think that's one of the only exceptions to that, because I really enjoy all of her parts in almost every song that I can recall her singing in. And then the chorus in the song is really fun. I like songs that have kind of like the repetitive, like one syllable words where it's like ma 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 ma. It's a lot of fun.
Except you don't like mo mo mo, whatever.
I don't dislike it. It's okay. So the song, it's not one of my favorite songs. I like both Let's Dance and Boogie Up more, but it's probably my third favorite after those two.
Yeah, this is another song done by the team of Olipop, Caesar Louis, and Haley Aitken. Yeah, it's a good song, probably not as good as Oh My Summer from them, but it's a great song to end it with. The one thing I do appreciate is like get a lot of like Red Velvet vibes in terms of how they use this, like the sound effects and those like build-ups in that sort of way. Yeah, that pre-chorus build-up is probably one of my favorite parts of the song, just because it really is such a defining characteristic of like how they produce or how the song is delivered. So again, I'm just a sucker for anything that uses like really clever sound effects or like kind of like chiptunesy effects. There's like the one that kind of sounds like Donkey Kong or something. So yeah, just like there's a lot of clever details in this song, and as someone that really appreciates these, yeah, it definitely made the song for me in that case. Cooper's notes were, this song is so fun, they do bubblegum pop so well. I'm also really glad there's no ballad on this album, just fun vibes the whole way through. Perfect closer to the album. So that closes out the track list, and we are going to get on to our ratings. So for those that are joining us for the first time, how our rating system works is we rate out of a 10-point scale. We give a maximum of 7 points to the music, a maximum of 3 points for the concept, so the visuals, the choreography, the outfits, album art, that sort of thing. So Sam, what was your score?
Okay, so I feel like even though I kind of ripped apart some of the songs, I don't know, I still gave it a 7 out of 7 for music, because I loved this. I loved this mini. Like, I was happy the whole way through. I mean, once I like start listening, like nitpicking, I mean, of course I'm going to find things, but I can listen to it on repeat. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. Like, I really loved it. However, for concept, I gave it a 1.5. Because it's a summer concept, and like you said, not a fan of the styling at all. So yeah, overall an 8.5.
Okay.
So, as I said before, I haven't really been the biggest fan of WJSN in the past. So this is by far my favorite release of theirs. I agree, this is one of the better albums released this year, and both Let's Dance and Boogie Up are going to go like on my best of the year playlists for the whole rest. So 2 great hits. All the rest of the songs on the album are great. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 7. For music, for styling, I agree that it was kind of basic and kind of just okay. So I was going to give it a 1.5, but I'm going to boost it by 1 whole point, because this is the best Luda has looked since her silver hair in Dreams Come True.
Oh.
So Luda looks amazing, so plus 1 point. So that's 2.5 and 6.5.
So a 9.
So a 9.
Wow. Giving it a higher score than me.
Oh boy. On my end, so for those that again are new, I split the 7 points of my music between the single and the album. So for the single, I'm gonna give a maximum of 2 points, because I felt it was probably the weakest on the entire album. Granted, it's nothing too like offensive or just boring. It's just I feel like they should be a bit more ambitious in terms of what they're doing with singles. Album, I'm 2.5 out of 3.5. I do have a lot of songs I do like, but I feel like My Type was kind of a letdown in that front, especially being a full bloom produced song. Concept, I'm kind of being generous with because I'm giving it 2 out of 3 because that's mostly based on just like I guess I don't mind, or I'm not offended by, or I'm not bored by like the summer concept as much as other people are, just because they all look amazing. And I love this group so much. And again, like Xe with a ponytail was probably worth 1 point on its own, in all honesty. So yeah, it'll get 2 points just for that. So that it's a total of 6.5 out of 10, which
ouch.
Again on mine is that's all right. That's an all right score. It's like nothing too like too bad, but I mean I usually having high expectations for Would You Sonyo every time they make a release. That's pretty much what I'd leave it at. Cooper, for his score, he decided to give a 6.5 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, for a total of 8.5 out of 10. And Nate just left us some notes and overall score. So he said his comments are, love all the music a ton, don't dislike anything on the album. MV is typical Starship girl group summer MV, super focused on visuals, but that's fine, not a negative to me. It's fun, which is what matters and matches the song. Choreo is also fun, but not as technical as Would You Sonyo is capable of, so they drop a tiny bit there. And yet he still gives it a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh my god.
Classic.
That is classic Nate right there. So let me do all the math real quick. So we have a 6.5, 2 8.5s, a 9.5, and a 9. So dividing that by, that's what, 5 people. So that rounds out to an 8.5. Out of 10 for score. So yep, that's probably a pretty decent spot for placing it on, even though I gave it a lower score. It definitely it's nothing too like offensive or just bad or whatever. I have really high expectations for Yu Sonyo. So what do you guys think of Boogie Up and the WJSN for the summer comeback? Do you like them changing up their style? Do you want them to go back to Magical Girl stuff? Please say yes. Leave all your thoughts in the comments below. And moving on to topic 2, we're on to not really, I guess you can't really call this K-pop, I guess. This is more just like Korean music. But it's always nice to go to this type of music. At least I think it's nice. So we're going to do a review of Colde and his new album called Love Part 1. So for those that aren't familiar with Colde, he is one half of the musical duo that is Off on Off. They used to be under Tableau's sub-label under YG called High Ground, but once High Ground dispersed, they kind of went off to do their own thing. Colde and Zero Channel, like the other guy, so Colde is the main like performer, singer of all their songs. Zero Channel is the producer. They're both part of Club Eskimo, which is kind of the collective that Dingin and like other artists of his like friends are under, that type of thing. So again, I know this isn't like your guys' wheelhouse, so I should be very interested in seeing what your thoughts are on this. This is very much a me and possibly Cooper type of album release. So, starting off, we have Love is a Flower. Sam, what are your thoughts on Love is a Flower?
Okay, so yeah, this was the first impression of him. So that was exciting. You know, it started off with like a piano and some whistling. I was like, okay, this is what it's going to be like. And then he like started singing, and I just like immediately was like, oh, it's gonna be like this.
Like, oh, is that kind of album?
I was like, okay. Like I didn't know what to expect, and then okay. Yeah, that's really mostly what I had to say. I mean, like, he had some really cool stuff going on. Like, you know, there's some strings, there's piano. I mean, I was liking it more with each listen, and I mean, it's overall the whole album's just so much better with headphones.
Oh, definitely.
And like, he does so many cool things with the instrument, but like his voice, like but and then it was like, it was such a short song, yet it felt like it took forever to end, because the whole like last minute is him just like doing a chord and like hum. It was like, okay, like song's over. Let's just. I mean, it's like an intro, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a long intro. But yeah.
That's, I think, similar to my thoughts on it. So like, I really liked how it kind of like started off very like minimalist, and I thought it was just going to be like an instrumental track, and I was down with that. And I think this will be like a repeating theme throughout both this album and the next album, is that I like the parts where they're not singing. So as long as they're not singing, but like when you start singing, it get into the danger territory a little bit. But I really like the instrumental on this song. I love pianos. I actually thought he did a really good job incorporating like nature and like those bird chirping sounds into the background. I really like that. The part where like the violin or some sort of stringed instrument pops in for a little bit, that was good. But like his vocals, they just don't work for me that much. So I still like the song. It starts off really strong, and then we'll see.
So yeah, if this is your first time listening to us reviewing Colde or off on off type music, you should know that this was probably one of the only album off on off was like a god tier album for me when I first listened to it. Like it was just like something I listened to like nonstop. So like the amount of weight that Colde's music holds in my eyes is just very immense. So I had a lot of expectations going into this album, and I just pretty much got what I wanted right off the bat in terms of what I expect from his type of production and his type of music. So he makes a very good use of just ambient noise in almost every single type of release, or just these type of like ballady songs. And for me, at least, the string instrumental was very moving, just as much as the piano melody was. Again, it's just this type of like really emotional type song that I've really just resonate with. I'm a fucking emo kid at heart. Like this is the type of music I listen to. Like I really, just I guess to take off like the YouTuber mask for a bit, like I really don't listen to K-pop all that much, in all honesty. Like most of the music I listen to outside of I try to keep myself distanced away just so I won't get sick of it. So a lot of the music I turn to is stuff like this, stuff like Dean, or stuff like, I don't know, just more R&B type of music inside and outside of Korean artists. So yeah, I guess that's why I really like resonate with his music. Just it's the perfect type of like, I don't know, like nighttime driving or just sleepy time music. Or just that type of vibe. So like in all honesty, it reminds me of something like this song specifically reminds me of something that this one artist that we covered on releases last week, Clara C. She's like this old YouTuber, like Korean American artist, that she does a lot of like really nice vocalization and piano and string instrumentals. So it definitely gave me a vibe of that. Maybe that's why I resonate with it a lot more on that front. So moving on, we have
what does Cooper think?
Oh, Cooper didn't write individual notes for this.
Oh, come on, Cooper.
He only does it for groups he really, really likes.
He said this is like his album of the year.
Yeah. It's just funny. I don't know why. I don't know why. Anyway, moving on to Love Makes Me Jealous. So if the titles of the songs and the title of the album haven't sort of given you an indication of what the theme is here, I mean, they should kind of give it away at this point. So, Sam, what are your thoughts on this?
All right. So, trying to remember how this one kind of went. I mean, like he had like, I remember it started off with like kind of like a static synthy effect. Like he just does really cool things, in the background instrumentally. That's pretty much my big comment of the whole album. And like he has like it had a very echoey sound to his singing, but like his singing, he like mumbles a bit and it like comes across flat, and I couldn't get over it. I don't know. And it's like he's having all these cool things happening in the background. Like there's like like little arpeggios happening. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I wish I could hear it. And then he started rapping in this one, I believe. I think it was like the only rap in the album.
That's the only rap that he had on the entire
and like
album.
the rap, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fine. Then he like ended it with this like, hey, or something. And I was just like, okay, what was that? But I don't know. But the one thing I really like the last like 30-ish seconds of the song. He's doing kind of like this harmonizing with the mumble and the falsetto. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. That's like the only time I was a fan of the mumbling was when he would layer it with kind of like his more falsetto sound. Like I thought it created a really cool effect, and they're very different sounds, but together it's like, okay, like I see what he's doing. I liked that. That yeah.
I noticed that as well. Like my favorite part of the song was the way he utilized his background vocals. Like it seemed like sometimes background vocals, like they don't really like feel like they sit well within the song.
Yeah,
he does a really good job like binging off them, and they flow really well. Especially like in the last half of the song, they just sound fantastic. But still, the voice is just kind of. I agree that the rapping was probably the best part of this, which I wouldn't have expected. It's just a kind of a chill song, but it doesn't really do much for me.
Again, I'm just a really big fan of just like lo-fi, like slow moving R&B. Basically just, I guess, to sort of put all of Colde and Off's music in a nutshell. Like this is the type of like music you listen to at like 12 in the morning when you're just up late at night for no goddamn reason, and that's me every single day. So that's why like this is my type of music personified in that sort of way, I guess. Yeah, I get to this probably would be the most, I guess, signature of like the type of production and sound that Colde and Off would do. The rap verse definitely was kind of a surprise because he doesn't rap all too often, but he's still really good at it. I mean, because they usually get some type of like guest vocalist or rapper to do that, but he more than carries his weight on the rap verse. So I don't know, I'm really been just into this type of like sort of slow moving R&B hip hop type music, because it kind of reminds me of like what Tyler's doing, like Tyler the Creator. Like he released Igor and Flower Boy, like this type of like sort of mellow vibe of like lo-fi R&B type of music. So I guess that's where I usually draw my comparisons in that sort of way. Moving on, we are on to one of the two singles off of this release, titled I Fucking Love You. I don't really know how else to go about it. That's the title of the song, but what are your thoughts on that, Sam?
I mean, I thought this was a kind of a cool track. The first time I heard it, I was like, eh. No, the second time and like more, I was like, okay, I really dig it. I mean, this seems so random on the album. It was the only song of this style, but I mean, it was a cool song. I mean, it reminds me of something. I can't think of what it was, but it sounds like, there's just like this band, they're just jamming and like he's just singing, like, like as if there aren't lyrics, like he's just kind of improvising as he sings. And I thought that it was really cool.
That's a really great way to describe it. Definitely.
Yeah. And then the one thing that was kind of weird is just because he keeps saying like, I love you. It sounds weird.
His English is amazing. We will not slander Colde's English on this podcast.
Yeah, like it became distracting at a point.
Yeah, it is kind of distracting. Yeah, it's just us as native English speakers. Yeah, the grammar of it.
Yeah, I'm like, I see what you're going for, but it's okay.
Nice try.
And then one thing was like the last two songs were so short, like they were both under 3 minutes. So this one then felt long. So I think this one's like 4 minute song. Like the ending,
4 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah, the ending doesn't seem to happen. And then like there's that guitar part that happens towards the end. I couldn't tell if it's in a different key. It felt like it was.
Yeah, a bit of a modulation there.
Yeah, it just like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, whoa, okay. But I mean, it was a cool song. And then like as for the music video, I mean, it was dark. He's just like in a field, just kind of going at it.
Spinning around.
Yeah, I was just like, my first thought was like, oh, it's like the BTS Save Me field.
Yeah,
not to like bring BTS into this, but that was like my first thought. But he's just like, he's going, and then he's like running through the streets, and it's just he was going at it.
He's doing his Colde thing.
Yeah, he was angsty, I was feeling it. Yeah.
So I did not like the song. I feel like it could have been a good song, but I didn't like the way it was produced. So it sounds like it's trying to like sound like a live recording. Like there's like a little bit of like echo effect on everything, or it almost sounds like it was recorded in a room that wasn't sound treated or something. And I assume that was deliberate, but I didn't like that style. But I really liked like the guitar part and like the last third of the song. That was the part that I was really jamming out to, the whole thing. But the whole like first 2/3 of it, I didn't like any part of it.
I mean, if I were to pick a favorite, I mean, I couldn't, but this would definitely be one of them, just because one, it's this type of like brooding, like bluesy, like electric guitar driven type of song is. It builds up on what he released last year. He had a song called Freedom that sort of does something very similar in terms of the sound, and he definitely builds upon it with this. I don't know. I like the sort of like raw, like unfiltered nature of the song because again, it's blues. It's supposed to be very, impromptu and just like raw in that sort of nature. Like his vocals are super, like he's crooning, and it's like I love like the way you describe that, Sam. It's just, it sounds like he's just saying random shit, just like, and it fits the raw nature of that instrumental, and just I guess just the nature of the song that he's going after, like the harshness of it, like the lyrics I guess in that way sort of fit. Again, that interlude or that sort of bridge towards the end where it does a modulation, and that friggin', oh my god, the guitar solo is just incredible. Just like all this like crazy, just like blues riffs. Like the ending is just like has this nice like finger picking outro to it. Yeah, I mean, like the music video definitely doesn't have much going on. I mean, you don't really need it in all honesty, because I guess that's the title says more than enough. It speaks on way more than any, I guess, music video would. But yeah, I'd say I still find it interesting just because it's literally him in just like a foggy field. Like I don't know where the hell he filmed this, but where it has that much fog. But that's a pretty interesting sort of music video. Moving on to the other single that was released. I don't really know which one the lead single was in all honesty, because I don't know if he's necessarily like promoting it, because this is just not the type of music you go on music shows for. But he just released 2 music videos for this, one for I Fucking Love You and one for Why Did It. So what do you think of this one, Sam?
This was easily my favorite song on the album. Like this was the best he sounded vocally. Like I remember when it first started, I was just like, finally, like this is okay. His voice actually shines here. And like another thing I love, it's in 3/4, which is, I love songs in 3/4. Like it's one of my favorite time signatures. It just floats. I love it. Like I liked this song a lot. And then like how he does the chorus like down an octave first, and then when he jumps up in the falsetto, I was just like, yes, that was so good.
Yeah,
like I loved this. Like I really love the instrumentals. I made a note that it reminded me of kind of like a Zion T kind of instrumentals, which I mean, Zion T is like one of my favorites.
I mean, like same sort of like same group of friends and everything, like Fancy Child and like Eskimo Club, that whole thing. So
I was feeling the song, and then the music video was that was something. It just like came in a green screen, and like I'm guessing there must be some lyric about like falling, because it's like things just falling, and it's like at first I was like, okay, this is interesting. Then all of a sudden it's like King Kong, and it's like Spider-Man and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and then there was like a cat on a snowy car jumping.
The cat just eats shit.
I was loving it, and at the very end, it's just like all these cute animals, and there's like little drawn hearts.
Yeah, that's a screenshot that Cooper picked. It's just like 2 cats that make a heart.
Yeah, like I love this. Speaking of a cat, my cat just jumped up here. But like I thought it was a fun music video. At first I was like, this can't be the actual music video, right? Like this has to be like a fan made thing. No, it's official.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
I like this music video way more than the one for I Fucking Love You.
Yeah.
Like, this one is the other one I never want to watch that again. But this one is actually like it was fun. I liked all like the weird references and stuff, and anytime there's like cats or cute animals involved, I'm here for it.
So he actually last year he actually put out a song called Your Dog Loves You, and the whole music video is just like people like with their cute dogs and everything. Like that's probably like the best music video of all time if you haven't gone to see it. Like it was Colde, and then it featured Crush, so like that's Colde, Crush, cute animals. Like what else do you need?
I'll need to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, definitely go check it out.
I like the song as well. I admit the first time I listened to it, I fell asleep like briefly while I was listening. But when I actually came back and listened again, I was like, oh man, this is actually pretty good. like male like falsettos for me are hit or miss. Like some people can pull it off really well.
Yeah.
Others can't. I thought that this was very well done. Don't really have that much to say. It was a good song. Enjoyed it. Probably the best or second best song on the album.
Yeah, of the two singles, I definitely like Wadidu the most, just because I really feel like this might be Colde's best vocal performance out of all the music I've heard from him, in all honesty. Just the way, again, like you guys mentioned, just the way he interweaves his normal octave range and the falsetto it's beautiful. Nothing short of beautiful, literally. I guess the song title is interesting. Wadidu, I Google translated it. It came out to like an onomatopoeia sound, like a clattering or whatever. So I guess it makes sense with like all like the visuals in the music video. That sort of thing. Oh, that music video is a masterpiece. So yeah, there's like Doraemon, Spider-Man, The Matrix, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Like, as someone that's a sucker for pop culture references, like obviously I'm gonna love this. Again, just seeing him like superimposed and all this random stuff was funny. It kind of like Dean does this a lot in his music videos as well, so you can definitely tell like they're cut from the same cloth in that sort of way. But yeah, I feel like this is easily the strongest song vocally that I've ever heard from him, and yeah, this is why. Like, if I were to show someone why I love Colde and his vocal style and singing so much, like I'd show them Wadidu as like a perfect prime example of this type of music. So, moving on, we're on to Scent.
Yeah, so pretty much kind of a similar comment of all. It's like, once again, loved the instrumental. When he starts singing, I'm like, okay. I mean, he had the echo effect was back in this song. He seems to like that. One thing I noticed was like the second verse was better than the first one. He seemed to do more, like, usually with songs,
you build
the first
on
and
verses.
second verse. Well, sometimes they do like a copy paste thing, So I really enjoyed that it was in this copy paste. Like the second verse, he was doing some more melody stuff, music terms there. And this was another thing I noticed is like as the songs would go, I don't know if it's like his voice got better or like I just got used to it. But it's like as it went, I was like, okay, his voice isn't as bad as when it started. I think it's whenever the song starts and like, oh, this is really like cool instrumentals. And then he starts, I'm like, it's a bit of a letdown. But as it goes, you just kind of get used to it. And yeah, I think that's about all I had to say with this one.
I similar thoughts for me. Like the vocals just aren't really doing it for me. I don't really ever listen to this style of music or this style of vocals. So it's kind of just like I'm getting through it. I will say something that really annoyed me in the song is part of the way through the song, there's like this pinging that happens.
Yes.
Only in the right channel. So like it sounded like someone was like pinging on pots and pans in my kitchen, and I like turned to see what it was. And like I don't understand why he didn't put that in both channels because it was really distracting.
Yeah, like I was listening to this on the train and I fell asleep and I woke up to this song and I'm just like, is someone like paging me or something? I was just super confused the first time I heard it. So, anything else to say on it, or?
I think that's about it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have much else to say on this, in all honesty, as well. Just because, yeah, it's a good follow up to in terms of placement to Wadidu. It's very simple of a song. Like it really just only has acoustic guitar and this like simple drum beat and that ping. But I feel like it works well. The sort of echoey effect is nice. It's like this really like nice blend of like indie and almost like shoegazing in a way. It's like I guess that's just how to describe a lot of his music in general, just like really just that type of vibe. So I was still a pretty big fan of it. Next we have You Don't Need My Love.
So same comment as most of the other songs, just voice at the beginning. By the chorus I was liking his voice a little more. He had some like percussion enter, and it sounded, I guess the song was a little bit faster paced than maybe some of the other ones.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a nice change. And like he did more of that harmony with the falsetto and the mumble. I was digging that. He had some snaps in this. I enjoy some snaps in a song. And he had some whistling at the end. Like I always enjoy that. One thing I noticed, the second chorus he built off it. He had like some more guitar parts going on. which I thought that was really cool. Once again, like with the last songs, I don't really like copy paste. Like I like it when they add something new to it, so it's not just repetitive the whole way. But it's like, yeah, it's like once again, I really like what he does instrumentally, but his voice.
I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, I think, too, because I agree with that. Like, the instrumentals are really good, and I appreciate songs that incorporate, like, guitar as well, and I like the guitar, but it's just, I just can't do the vocals. They're just not for me. But that's all I have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, most of the notes I have to like highlight on are definitely the sort of guitar picking arrangement that they have going there, and also between that and his vocalization and the melody that they wrote for the vocals, a lot of it's in a minor key, so it definitely helps bring out that sort of like brooding, emo, sad nature of the song. Like the song's literally called "You Don't Need My Love Anymore," so this guy's just like, yo, what the fuck? What are you doing, random nameless girl? Like, why don't you need my love anymore? Like, it definitely sort of adds. I like when music theory and music characteristics or how you write a song add to the emotion of that the lyrics are trying to convey. That's probably like one of the best parts of music in general, just how those two intermingle in that sort of way. So yeah, this is another standout song for me, in all honesty, just because I love the guitar in it specifically. The last two songs are ballads, so really nice sort of emotional ballads to close out with. The first one is titled Endless Love.
Yeah, so literally my first note is ugh, his voice. Like, but then like the other comments, it's like, they had like strings going on. It was so pretty. Like the instrumental was so nice. Like it had like nice, soft piano, had these strings. And like my other comment, it's like his voice is ruining the channels. And then I guess he brought back like the birds chirping towards the end. And then I guess another one of my notes is I guess there's like the last 10 seconds are just kind of silence. Like there's just nothing happening. Like, okay. Yeah. Once again, it's like great instrumentals. Voices, yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. The instrumental is fantastic. Again, the piano, the strings, the bird chirping, nature sounds. I'm here for all of that. His vocals, I couldn't do any of that. But then in like the last, I don't know, part of the song where he stops singing and it's just the instrumentals, I'm back on board again.
Yeah, definitely. Let's say that's another like sort of big element of it, just like that ambient noise and the bird chirping. It sort of brings it back full circle with "Love Is a Flower," just sort of bookending it in that sort of way, which I liked. Again, I as someone that's still a big fan of his vocals, he doesn't go into falsetto all too often here, but I still think it goes well with. I guess it's kind of a haunting ballad in some sort of way, just the way that it sort of builds up to that sort of resolution we get in the chorus. So, not my favorite of the ballad tracks. That would actually be the following one, called "Don't Leave Me, My Love." So, Sam, take us out. What are your thoughts on this one?
So with this one I actually let out like an audible like sigh of frustration when he started singing. Like it was just like a oh my gosh. But like he sounded like, in my notes, he sounded just like a creepy guy just kind of whispering in my ear. Like, I wasn't feeling that. And like once again, loving the instrumental. His voice got better as the song went on, either I got used to it or he was just it was better. I don't know. But it's like, the stuff he does, like, with the melody of the vocals, like they're good. It's not. It's really just I don't want him singing it. I don't know. I call this. This is my thing. I call it like the Lin-Manuel Miranda effect. If you don't know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is, he wrote Hamilton and In the Heights, and he always has to perform his own
music, yeah, where it's good,
and it's
but he's not the best at it.
He's not good. Like, give it to someone else who can make it shine. So like that was kind of my frustration of like, this is good. Give it to someone else to actually like, but yeah.
Yeah, like the first part of the song, like the first half or maybe 40%, it's just I was, just trying to go through the motions, get through the song. And then like right around the halfway point, like those strings come in and they like bring up like the feel of the song. And I was like, oh man, is it going to switch? I'm kind of on board for this now. And then like a little bit later, they just go away and he goes back to what it was before. And I was like, oh no, never mind. I'm out. So not the best ending track. I think I liked Endless Love better than this one.
I mean, what sort of makes this song for me, I feel, is literally, I can actually, again, his vocals, there's so much emotion in it, I feel. It's like the emotional buildup of the song, not just like the violin and string instrumentals kicking in, but again, just like, I feel the emotion in his voice. It's literally a song that's called Don't Leave Me, My Love, and I can sort of feel that sort of, I guess, desperation or sadness resonating from that his voice. Obviously, I love like the sort of like lo-fi hiss that he adds to it, and it's got this like really nice slow-moving blues sort of feel to it in a way, or just kind of like those old, kind of like the feel of old, of like people from like, I don't know, like Billie Holiday or like Ella Fitzgerald in that sort of way. And I specifically love the ending, because there's a part of the ending that it kind of like leaves you hanging a bit, like sort of waiting for like the final notes to come in. Like I really love that detail of it in that sort of way. So I feel like the whole thing was just arranged so beautifully for me that it literally makes me feel emotional just hearing this song all the time, in all honesty. So yeah, I feel like it left that much of an impact, and that's why I felt it was a good way to end the entire album. So we finished the track list, on to our song ratings. Sam.
Okay, so for music, it's like literally all the points taken off is just for his voice. I gave it a 4.5 for music. And like I feel bad because it's not like the songs are bad. It's just I wasn't into them. And then for the concept, I'm gonna add 0.5 back to this just because there were cats in the music video. I'm gonna give it a 2 for concept. So overall 6.5.
Okay, Barron.
I agree. So the instrumentals are just so good. So I couldn't give it that bad of a score, because I really do enjoy like every single instrumental for every track. So I'm going to give it also a 4.5 out of 7. And then the styling, I really like the album art. I kind of like that kind of like abstract, kind of like bright colors look. And then the music video was great. Well, at least one of them was. And so I'll give that 2 out of 3. So also 6.5 for me.
Oh boy, this is such a reverse. I am giving a 3.5, a maximum of 3.5 for the singles, mostly just because I love Wadidu. Again, that was just a perfect summation of who Colde is as a musician for me, and I hope it does well. I hope he comes to the U.S. again. Freaking God, the one time Off on Off came to New York City was when we were in Toronto for Card, and I was just in the worst agony that I never got to see, and they've never come back ever since, because they haven't done Off on Off music in forever. So that's just like my biggest regret, like not seeing any of this live. Album, I gave perfect marks as well, 3.5 out of 3.5, just because I loved every single song. I feel very rarely do we get albums that work as albums, and I feel like each one of these songs flows so well one into another, especially between like the end, like the beginning and the end. So I love that attention to detail to how you arrange an album. And I'm giving a 3 out of 3 for concept, because mostly just because one, that the album art looks amazing, two, again, freaking that the craziness that is the Wadidu music video. It's so him. It's like this visual style. It's instantly recognizable for me in terms of his music. So it's executed to perfection, and this album deserves perfection, which is why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. This is the first 10 out of 10 I've given all year. It might be the only 10 out of 10 I'm giving all year. So that says something. Like, I'm usually the curmudgeon asshole on this show. So for me to give a 10 out of 10 should say something about how much I love this guy's music. So Cooper, he gave just overall thoughts on the album. He says, this album has made me a full-on Colde stan. His feature on Haze's So It Ends and Off on Off really made me pay attention to him as a solo artist. The album can go on repeat over and over for me. I love every song that much. Love is the Flower opens the album and sets the tone for the whole thing. I really love his almost slurred singing style. It sounds really unique with a smooth and spacey production on the tracks. It almost becomes hypnotic to listen to. He's also a pretty good rapper. My favorite tracks are I Fucking Love You, Wadidu, and Don't Leave Me, My Love. So yeah, pretty much Cooper likes all the same songs that I do. He says the two MVs are pretty unique, and I really love the album cover too. This is definitely going on my album of the year shortlist. Thank you, Cooper. He gave it a 7 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, for a total of 9.5 out of 10. So putting the numbers into the machine and calculating the score, that is going to be an 8 for Colde. Oh. No.
You invited us on the wrong week.
I invited you guys on the wrong damn week. Like if we had Jacob on, this would have been like throbbing. Like, this would have gotten like a perfect almost in terms of how does he like the music. But yeah, I know it's not your wheelhouse, but I'm glad you guys still managed to listen to it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Colde's Love Part 1? Do you like the style of singing? Did you like all the visual elements? Do you think I Fucking Love You is a weird title track or something to say in a song? I don't know. I don't. It's funny. There's no way a song like this would ever be allowed on any like music show or whatever. Like, how would you even change "I Fucking Love You"? Because you know how they try to change the lyrics when it has like a brand name or whatever. Like what is it? Like EXO's Lotto became like Louder or something.
Yeah.
Or stupid stuff like that. You couldn't really do that with this song in all honesty.
It's like apparently like the Korean name was just "I love you." It wasn't "I fucking love you."
he just wanted to emphasize, or for the people that are out from outside America or just our English speakers. So definitely let us know all your thoughts on him, Colde, and his music in the comments below. And moving on to topic 3, we've got more sort of solo R&B artist music. We're going to do a review of June's today's full album, mini album. I don't really know what it's classified as, but it has 10 tracks, so it might be a full album. For those that aren't familiar with June, he is one of the members of PLT, a sort of hip hop R&B music collective. They're not a band, or they're not a K-pop group. They try to like emphasize that point that they're not K-pop. So he's one of their vocalists for the group. This is his first release of the year. He's done other sort of minis and random singles throughout the past year or so. So he's definitely one of my favorite vocalists from PLT and just in general. So starting the album off, we have 6 a.m. Sam, what are your thoughts on 6 a.m.? The time and the time period and the actual song.
Yeah, I mean it's an intro. It was groovy. I liked it. About like halfway in, the beat and the bass kind of kicks in. I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. Like I was excited going into this. I mean, I know PLT. Cooper made me listen to them, so I have knowledge of them.
Is Cooper just like the catalyst for you listening to like a lot of music at this
Pretty
point?
much, like, and Barron, both of you guys get me to listen to a bunch of stuff, and I go with it. But it's an intro, yeah.
So I thought this was a really good intro, partially because there's no singing on it.
What do you have against June and Colde?
But I really liked like the distorted piano. Like I thought that was a really cool addition to the song. It's an intro. I liked it. That's about all my thoughts.
Again, as a sucker for lo-fi like vibes, just like beats to relax and study to. Like literally this whole album is just that entire like YouTube freaking channel thing. Just like definitely got the lo-fi going on. So I love Radio Static to start off the sort of thing, and as you mentioned, the sort of distorted piano, just like how like the chords sort of echo out in that sort of way. Just a really good intro. Cooper gave individual track by track analysis for this because he's probably a bigger PLT stan than me at this point, and he found PLT like way after I did. So he says it's a solid intro with some lo-fi sounds, then turns into a piano and array in the R&B track that reminds you of something Hayes would include on our album. I really dig it. So if Cooper's invoking the name of Hayes, that means he's gonna like it a lot. I can already tell. Moving on, we've got Good Morning featuring Villain, who all the features of on this album are all other members of PLT, and Villain is one of the more like I guess hip hop focused ones. So it's interesting to see him feature on this like chill soundtrack type of thing. Sam, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
So yeah, Villain, I think he's my second favorite of the PLT.
Of PLT?
Yeah. I mean, I thought his feature wasn't really necessary in this. Like, yeah, he was in it. One thing that I thought was so interesting about this song is I didn't notice it the first time, but it fades in,
Yeah.
which is weird. Like,
You never hear fade-ins.
yeah, because I
in
noticed
music,
the
period.
fade out. I
Yeah.
noticed the fade out in the first listen, and I just went, "Are you kidding me? I haven't heard a fade out in like years."
Fade outs died like 10, 15
Yeah,
years
like
ago.
that was a big thing in like like the 70s or whatever, and they didn't know how to end a song. And so at first I was like, "Oh, that's stupid. Like, why'd they do that?" Then when I heard it faded in, like my second time listening, I was like, "Okay, sure. I guess that's kind of cool." So I what else did I have? Oh, I got really excited when he started singing because I like his voice.
Okay.
And after listening to Colde, I was like, "Oh, this is a voice. Like, thank you. Like, this is how you sing." And like he was like scatting. Like I was like, "What is this?" And then there's this one part. At first, I thought it was a tempo change. I thought I got faster, but I think it was just cut time. I think it was the same, but it was just going twice as fast. But I thought that was really cool.
And cut time kind of fits on this type of R&B type of thing, especially with like him like scatting and like doing the vocalizations. That definitely fits in with the vibe of the whole song. So
yeah,
Barron, this was okay. Like this is not really the kind of music I would ever listen to. The vocals are just, it's not that the vocals are bad, it's just that I don't personally like that kind of style. I'm sure he's perfectly talented. No opinion on that. I didn't notice the fade in, but I did notice the fade out, and I didn't like the ending of it. And there's also like that weird part where like the music kind of like abruptly cuts out for a moment and then cuts back on, and then like it fades out, and I just didn't like the ending of it.
yeah, that was weird. Yeah, in the fade out, it like cuts out.
Yeah.
And then cuts back in. I noticed that too. I was like, that was awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, so not a fan of that. The feature I thought was kind of unnecessary. Like it wasn't a bad feature. It felt like it didn't really need to be there at all. Overall, it was okay. Decent enough song.
Okay, Sam, I'm glad you actually like his voice because he has one of the smoothest voices in all of the country of South Korea. Like that is like he is an incredible singer. So as someone that is a huge fan of these smooth R&B type songs, like this is as June as you can get. I like the villain feature mostly just because it's kind of a change up for him. He usually does these really hype tracks. Like he sings for the most part, but most of the songs he sings all over are just like really hype songs. So for him to do this like really chill type of song is like a really nice change up or just a surprise in many ways for him to sort of apply his voice to this, and it still fits, or he does a good job of tailoring that sound to it well. So I felt like this was a good way to sort of start off the album. And I like the sort of like fade in fade out type of thing kind of like plays in with the sort of whole like radio type notion. It's like, oh, you're randomly stumbling upon the song and just like it sort of starts in that sort of way and you're just tuning out at the end, that sort of thing. See, I love when they're creative in that sense. Cooper's notes were, this is a classic mid-tempo PLT song. Then the breakdown hits with some light scatting and a full jazz instrumental that I absolutely love. Villain sounds amazing here, and their voices play well together. So Cooper's just gonna be like me, just like praise every song essentially, just because he loves June PLT. So we're on to Welcome Home.
Okay, so I think this one was more, like a ballad. I guess that's what I have in my notes. His voice, once again, I was loving his voice, and like that's really all I have for my notes. This one was really short. I remember the first time I listened to this, it was like over
a little over 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I think I was doing something else and I wasn't really paying attention. All of a sudden it was over. I didn't write anything. I missed the whole song. But I mean, like, it was a good song. Like his voice was the focus, and I was digging it. I like his voice.
That's actually the exact same thing that happened to me, is that I was kind of like doing something else at the same time. So I started listening to it, and then I didn't write anything down. And then the next song had started, and I started writing down notes under this song for the next song because I didn't even realize the song had ended yet. But overall, didn't like the song. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, the Welcome Home and 4 definitely blend into each other very seamlessly. I definitely have that experience as well. But with this one, I specifically like how it builds up because it's pretty much just June's voice and an electronic guitar, and like the electric guitar is just incredibly sort of fitting. And yeah, you really don't need much else to sort of accentuate the vocals here. But again, this falsetto is incredible. It's just as good, if not better, than Colde's falsetto. So just really big fan of that. Cooper says, sometimes all a song needs is a great vocalist and a guitar. That ending gives me chills, definitely. Just the way sort of it builds up in that sort of way is a lot of it's just definitely memorable. So next we have 4.
Yeah, so
and it's the fourth track on the album. you clever.
I think like halfway through this song, I think I realized it's all in English, isn't it? The song, like
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, halfway through, I was like, oh, it's English. Wait, it's still in English. Is the whole thing in English? Yeah, it was all in English. And one thing, I was loving his voice. I was loving the instrumental. He was scatting again. And there were some snaps going on. I love a snap in a song. I think it's really fun. And I don't remember how this one ended, but I remember I was not satisfied. Like, I think how a song ends is really important. And I remember because I was already frustrated about that one song that faded out. I don't remember how this one ended, but I think it was some sort of abrupt ending. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not, it didn't, yeah. But overall, like, the song was good, but my main focus was like, I didn't like how it ended. So it gave me a negative kind of feel of the song.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of like the scatting. Like it wasn't really doing it for me. So that part is, but there's like a nice instrumental part where he isn't singing. Totally hit that part. So it's not awful. I mean, like I do like these instrumentals, and his voice isn't bad. It's just it just doesn't do much for me. So this is another just meh.
This is definitely the most traditional, like 90s R&B sounding song on the entire album, and it's someone that grew up on that stuff. It's incredible. Like you can definitely tell the influence he's pulling from a lot of American R&B artists. Just the way his vocalization goes, or just the way that these instrumentals are presented. It's definitely heavily influenced by what they were doing over here in the U.S. I really do applaud him for singing the entire song in English. I did not expect that at all, and I feel like the chorus is probably the strongest on the entire album, just because I love like that build up into the falsetto. Do 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 do. Like it's he can sing me to sleep at this point. Like his voice is so good. Oh man. Cooper said, I was not expecting a full English song. I didn't even know he was fluent in English. Yeah, same. I really didn't know. Because they don't do English. I mean, yeah, they do English like smatterings like they do in all the K-pop songs, but I mean he's never done a full English song like this before. So Cooper says, I love how he can make a really simple production work in his favor, just some light piano and some snaps, and I'm completely captivated by the whole song. This is for sure one of my favorites on the album. I agree, Cooper. Next is Waltz, which features Gaho, also of PLT.
Yeah, so Gaho's my favorite member of PLT, like hands down. It's like all my comments are just pretty much just like, Gaho's in it. I'm happy. Like when they were like harmonizing together, I was just
God,
I was loving it. Like I love Gaho. And one thing I thought that was kind of it was fitting. It's called Waltz. It's in 3/4.
Yes,
I love 3/4.
It's in 3/4. I was so happy.
Like it makes sense. Happy. Like it doesn't take too much to please me, I guess, with this song. The tape sound came back in this, like the whole kind of like cassette tapey kind of feel that they had, I guess, in the intro. It kind of made its way back in this song, so that's kind of cool. Keeping the consistency in the album. But yeah, that was my big thing. It's like, yeah, Gaho and 3/4. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
I remember when we did the PLT listen through in Discord. I was not a fan of like almost anybody who was there, but when it came to the Gaho songs, I was like, oh man, this is actually really good.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He has a powerful voice, and like,
yeah.
There's a lot of those, but Gaho is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, so like I wasn't here for almost any of them, but all the Gaho songs were great. I love his voice on this. I agree that the way he harmonizes is really good. The song's quite enjoyable. It's not my favorite song on the album, but this is a very good song, and I have no complaints about it.
Mm-hmm. As someone that's a sucker for, again, like lo-fi sort of sound effects, especially freaking cassette tapes, as someone that's a weirdo that collects K-pop cassette tapes, I love those sound effects for songs. Again, like you mentioned, Sam using 3/4 since it's a waltz. The second I realized that, I just had the stupidest smile on my face when I was the first time I listened.
Yeah, I did the same. Like I saw it was called Waltz, and I was like, "It's gonna be in 3/4, right?" And then I was like, "Okay, good."
So I feel like this was the perfect song for Gaho to feature on, specifically. One, because the vocalizations that they both do are just incredible. The way they harmonize and interact with each other in terms of vocals is insane for a group that mostly makes its name known for like hip hop songs. They have some of these incredible ballad singers on here as well. So yeah, that really made this song for me, just the way that they interacted with each other vocally. Cooper says, when that Gaho hits, though. That's his first line. He says, we seriously do not have enough Gaho tracks. Their harmonies together are incredibly beautiful. That alone makes this my favorite song. So definitely Cooper's the good indication of taste here. Next, we're on to the lead single off of this album, entitled Tonight, with a comma after it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Tonight, so what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen tonight? What?
Yeah. Well, this was random. Just like with the other albums, like the title track was kind of random. But yeah, it's like New Jack Swing. I was like, okay, like it was just so upbeat, and I was feeling it. I mean, at some point, I got a little bored. I was like, okay, all it has is it's New Jack Swing, and then like this part in the chorus where he does like the da 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 da. Hey, I was like, the way he says hey, I'm just like, that is so like not that good, but and then like, I remember when I was listening to the song, like I was getting kind of bored. I was like, okay, it's leveled off. Then all of a sudden, like the bridge like got like weird. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, like I'm feeling this. And then I remember in the music video, there's like a dance break that happens, but it's too dark to even see what they're doing.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah. And the music video was really cool. It was weird seeing a New Jack Swing song in like high quality. Yeah. Normally they have like the grainy, like, oh, it's the 90s effect, or this was like perfectly clear. Like it was weird. It was interesting. It was different. You also don't see him in the music video till like, I feel like over a minute into it. Yeah. I was like, oh, there he is. And yeah, I don't remember if there was like a story happening. It was just a bunch of partying. I remember there was a girl. Like, yeah, it was a music video.
I really enjoyed the song. This is one of my two favorite songs on the album. Really good synths, and I like good synths. The instrumental that opens the song is really fantastic. The weird part with like the distorted vocals, I don't know about that. Like, that didn't really make sense to me. And then, as a general question, why is there a comma in the song title at the end?
I don't know. I really don't know why there's a comma, but yes.
Well, I mean, why is the album called Today's? Like,
today's what? Like tonight's what? Why are you leaving me hanging here? Ooh. The anticipation is killing me.
So overall, really enjoyed the song. Fantastic.
So again, I love New Jack Swing. I was all here for it when EXID did Lady. So I'm all here for it for June. Like, his voice is just tailor made for this type of genre. Again, just he loves that 90s vibe. So no surprise he would have done a New Jack Swing song. I'd say in terms of singing, I guess it's not necessarily as impactful, because he likes to belt in some songs, but I mean, you can't really do that all too often in a New Jack Swing song. Like, it just doesn't really like fit that well. But I mean, I still love the vocal performance nonetheless. You can definitely tell that they have a limited budget with how the music video came out, because it's pretty much, it literally just takes place in like a basement or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just one set they probably filmed in like a couple hours. I mean, you can definitely tell, but yeah, I wish the music video was better, because I wish the music video matched how much I love the styling, because he's got this crazy, well, one, his hair looks great, just like the like blonde highlights with like the sort of shaved like dark like sides. Basically, like every Korean like guy does that nowadays.
I was gonna say his hair I did not like.
Really? I like that. I'd love to do that hairstyle if I could pull it off, but I'm too scared to dye my hair. And also Asian hair is just like a bitch to dye. So also he has it like in the music video, he has this like colorful like rainbow striped Balenciaga sweater on, and I'm just like, oh, that's
Yeah.
that is so New Jack Swing. That's so 90s. It's like a Coogee sweater or something. So like the styling is incredible. Even like for the girl, I guess it just looks like something from the time period. The vocoder breakdown was just probably the best part of the song for me. So that's definitely what sort of salvaged, I guess, the parts I didn't like as much. Cooper says, I knew he'd do a New Jack Swing song as the single. This doesn't disappoint. His voice fits the genre so well. The MV is super 80s and fun. Love the color grading and throwback vibes. Moving on, we've got Letter, which features Moti and Jung Jin-woo, also from PLT.
Yeah, so they're like my least two favorite members of PLT, especially Moti. Like, he wasn't like offensively bad in this song. Like, my
His
first
voice,
like,
you love it or you hate it, really.
yeah, like this, I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, this wasn't bad. Like, there have been other songs with him, I'm just like, I can't listen to this. But he was fine. This is kind of the point in the album where I was starting to not care for June's voice as much. Like, I felt like he used all of his tricks early
in
on.
like the first half.
Yeah, so like the falsetto now, I'm like, I'm not feeling it anymore. He's scatting again. I'm like, dude, you've done this twice now. Like, you've done it. Like, you need a new trick. And yeah. And then Jinwoo, I thought he was good. I liked his feature. I thought his falsetto was better than June's. So that might have also made me start realizing, like, okay, I don't know if June's falsetto is as good as I thought it was. But yeah.
I really like the song. Who was rapping at the start?
That's Moti.
I don't.
Moti.
I
Moti's
really
the
like
rapper.
that part,
Jung
actually.
Jin-woo's more of a... Jung Jin-woo's kind of like Villain, where he's mostly a singer, but he does like more hype tracks, like electronic music, as opposed to Villain's like hip hop type sounds. So
Okay. Well, I really like that part. I thought it was a really good feature. I like both the features, actually. This is my other song that's my favorite, along with Tonight. I don't know which one is my favorite, but those two are standouts for me. It's really good. There's like a little bit like a different feel to it than a lot of the other songs on the album.
yeah,
And I thought the features they made good use of the features on the song. So definitely a fan.
this is another good song for me. Moti just freaking kills it with that opening verse. I was surprised that they'd start off with him, but and I mean Jung Jin-woo did a great job. I love his voice as well. I just wish there was more vocal interaction, kind of the same way that like June and Gaho had on Waltz. Like they really just kind of stayed isolated in their own sections of the song.
Yeah, this was really, it was Moti, then it was June, then it was Jinwoo. It was just there was no interaction.
Yeah, I like that part, especially with features. So I feel like they could have done a bit better in that. But I mean, it's nothing that really kills the song like too much for me. Just I wish it would have been better if they did have more of that interaction. Cooper's notes are, this is Moti's best rap ever. Whoa.
I'd agree.
Shame about his album, though. He says, I have trouble differentiating June and Jinwoo's voice. Sometimes they're both... Sometimes, but they both definitely sound great here. This song has a really good groove to it, and I love the chorus. Definitely love the chorus. Next, we're on to Heaven.
Yeah, so I said this was nice. It had some piano. That was nice. He's like harmonizing, kind of layering vocal like with himself. I really like it when singers do that. They add another layer vocally on top of themselves. It adds more. It kind of becomes a more fuller sound. Once again, like my note at this point, I'm over the falsetto. Like it was starting to hurt my ears at this point. I was just like, it's just like either it's like too airy or it was just hitting me in a way where it's like I was just kind of over it at this point. He's done it. too often now that it's lost the effect. Plus, I liked Colde's falsetto more than June's. Like, they had the opposite problems. Like, when Colde was in the lower register, I was not feeling it. Like, when June's in the lower register, I was like, this is good. But like, and yeah, the falsettos, yeah, I liked Colde's more than I liked falsetto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. By this point in the album, I was kind of just like over it in general. So like, it's not a bad song, but I wouldn't have wanted to listen to this to begin with. And after already listening to like the whole album, especially after liking the last two songs and then this one kind of being back to his previous style, it's like, I'm just waiting for it to get over. I'm done with this album.
Yeah, in a way, it's not a bad song. It just kind of gets overshadowed by other songs of this style just being like 100 times better. So like this just kind of just ends up being like the runt of the litter in a sort of way, especially at this point, like in the listening experience. But I mean, I still like the falsetto parts, personally. Cooper, yeah, definitely kind of started to tire. He just literally just wrote beautiful production and vocals again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so moving to the penultimate track, we have 12 a.m. My favorite time of night.
Yeah, so we started at 6 a.m. We got to 12 a.m. So, yeah, I made a note once again, like when he's in the lower register, you know, I was really feeling it. I think this might have been my favorite. It was chill. I was jamming. You know, there's a lot of sound effects that were going on because once again, I guess he's kind of bringing back like either like the tape recorder sound, like some sort of, you know, static. Yeah. Kind of like it almost kind of reminded me of like a vinyl sound at some point. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. You know, like I really like the atmosphere that was created with this song, and I'm guessing because like the next song is like I guess a bonus kind of song that this should have been how it ended, and it would kind of lead back into the beginning nicely. So I kind of hate that they added like an extra song. Where it's like it would have made sense to end right here. But yeah, I really liked I like this as an ending to the album.
That's like a pet peeve of mine in K-pop in general, is like whenever they like make a thematic album start to finish and then they throw bonus songs on the end that just completely ruin it.
It doesn't fit like well with what the rest of what's being presented.
Yeah, like even if the songs are good, like the one that comes to mind is I Use Modern Times.
I was gonna say repackages when they throw in a song at the end on the repackage. Yeah.
Like, I'd rather they throw it in at the end than what some albums do, like I think Luna's done this before, or no, maybe Twice has, where they throw the new songs just randomly in between. Like, I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like on Taeyeon's My Voice repackage, they actually put the song in a correct order that the album still flows well, and I like that. But anyways, back to the original song. I feel like it's a good way to end the album. It would have been a good way to end the album. Yeah. It kind of like ties up the themes of the album pretty well, and I do like how the album flows start to finish. But the song itself is just kind of like my only notes I wrote down are meh. Like it's a good way to end the song, but that's all I got.
Yeah, I'd say most of my notes were just how nice it sort of tied together everything thematically, like you guys mentioned. Yeah, it's bringing that album full circle again. Just definitely is a big plus in my book. For again, we don't really get this in K-pop, or people don't really. Usually, K-pop albums are just a smattering of singles, whereas this definitely June put a lot of thought into arrangement and just theme. So I felt like this would have been a good way to properly end the music or the entire album. Cooper says, "Yeah, there's some cool TV sounds at the end." I think he likes it still, but yeah. And the actual last song on the album is "The Way You Feel Inside" band version.
Very like lewd title, but yes. So the first thing I was like, okay, band version, so there must be an original version, which I did check out. So I was comparing the two. I don't know which one I like more. I think I like the band one more. But it's like I like the beginning of the original more, but I like the ending of the band one more. So at first I was digging it. I thought it was really nice. He does like the scat. He was still doing that. He's doing a little scuba dooba, like going in there, and then like the band comes in, and then like I remember I think I had this happen like with Tonight, or this one, like it kind of leveled off, and I was like, okay, the song's going. Then like all of a sudden, like this like electric guitar just like goes in, like it just like goes off, and like I had no idea what was happening. And then whereas like the original kind of had more of like an opposite effect, where it started off stronger. It had like a little like dubsteppy kind of vibe to it at one point, where I was like, whoa, this is weird. But then it just like leveled off and didn't come back. Whereas like I liked the band one, where it's like it just all of a sudden just goes. So like it really like threw me off. But I enjoyed it.
So I had the same thought. Like when I first saw the title, I was like, I wonder what the original version sounds like. But then after I listened to the band version and I realized that the only things I liked about the song were all the band parts, I just skipped listening to the original part. But that said, like I really dig like electric guitars in music, but like and especially in K-pop, or like even though this isn't K-pop, Korean adjacent, they're so rarely utilized. And I thought this was a really good use of electric guitar, so definitely here for that. But the fact that like it feels like half the song is just him scatting, I at this point I was completely out on that. So overall, I actually like the song better than a lot of other songs on the album, but it's purely because of the band parts of it. And it's a good song, but I feel like it's a bad way to end this album.
I mean, I love that sort of ad-lib nature that you get with a lot of these like jazzy type songs, and definitely fits his vocal range and the type of like vibe he likes to go after. So yeah, just I did go back, or I had some familiarity with the original version of this song, and it's incredible just how much an instrumental can completely change a song. I mean, I've mentioned that before with like the with like Did It Do It Do doing the remix, or Every Day's remix by Winner. Like just how much like that instrumental really just carries, I guess, the sort of feeling that you get, where the sort of like genre you get with completely changed genres, essentially just where it's more of an electronic vibe. The original song just like has like kind of a drop towards the chorus, whereas this is definitely just a completely different like vibe to it. I feel like the band accompaniment is definitely the highlight of it. I'm being a bass player myself. I'm a sucker for anything that has a really sexy bass line, but specifically the drum parts, the drum fills are just like butter. Like that was great. And I love vocalizations, obviously, being a fan of this type of music. I have no intention of listening to the original version anymore. The band version just completely blows it out of the water. Cooper says, this is one of my favorite songs on the PLT albums, and this rework completely blew me away still. The band instrumentals, especially the drums, add so much new variety to the song, an excellent way to close the album. So yeah, Cooper's pretty high on this one too. So having finished the track list, let's get on to song ratings again. Sam, what are you giving June's today?
So for the music, I gave it a 5.5. And I was happier with this musically than Colde's album. Even though like Colde did instrumentally cooler things, I was vibing more with this thanks to June's voice. And then for concept, I really didn't know how to like.
Yeah, it's hard to score concepts when there's no.
I gave it a 2 because I'm like, it's a 2. Like, there's nothing like too extremely awesome and nothing too extremely bad. Like it. So 7.5 is the score.
Okay, so I did not like this song as much, or this album as much as Colde's. The songs just didn't really do much for me. There's a few standout songs that are good, but they're not good enough to make me want to listen to this album again, so I probably won't. So since I just rate things based on whether or not I would like to listen to it again, I'm only going to give it a 3.5 out of 7 for music.
Oh man,
Cooper just dies.
So
Cooper just had a heart attack in the middle of Target somewhere.
Apologies for being the Grinch on this one. The concept, I agree. It's kind of hard to like rate stuff like this. I didn't like the album art that much, but the music video was okay. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 3 for 5.5 total.
Okay, 5.5. So for me, I still give it 3.5 out of 3.5 for the single, because I love I just love his voice so much, and him doing just my reaction when I first heard that it was a whatchamacallit, like friggin' New Jack Swing song was just, I was like, oh, that's all I need to know. That's really all I need to know. So it probably wasn't the best song on the album, but for a single, I completely understand why he went for it, and I still enjoyed it. Perfect marks again for the album, 3.5 out of 3.5. I love when they put thought into the album. I love when you tie it in just 6 a.m. and 12 a.m. and just how all of that flows together. His falsetto and his vocals are just some of the smoothest in K-pop, and I hope he, as well as PLT, just blows up, because there's a lot of they're super just like underrated at this point, and I feel like more people need to listen to this, because oh man, like I feel like June could go on like Masked Singer, and then just like nobody would know, and then he'd blow up, hopefully, because I mean he just has an incredible voice, and he really showcased it on this whole album. Concept, I'm probably only going to give a 2 out of 3 for, just because again it's kind of hard to judge this, and also I feel like they could have done better with the music video, but most of it's going towards styling, and I guess just like cinematography, in some ways, just how they made it look really 90s. So that's a total of 9 out of 10 for me. Cooper gave like a closing thought on all of this. He says, the PLT boys all need their own full album, except maybe Moti. Rip Moti stands, I'm sorry. Based on this album and Jung Jin-woo's Rotate, they can do so much more with a full album, lets them really shine. There's no songs here that I would remove or skip. It's a perfectly cohesive piece of work from start to finish. My favorite songs are Waltz, 4, and Tonight. Stan PLT. He gave 7 out of 7 for music and 3 out of 3 for concept for a 10 out of 10. You had to expect it. He is the PLT stan. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Cooper.
Putting all those numbers into the calculator, we get a total of 8 out of 10. So just the assassination of PLT, or of June and Colde. That's the title of this episode. We would have had a shiny if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Hey, you asked for it.
I know, but it's still good. It's good for you to, I guess, represent the side of like people that don't necessarily listen to K-pop normally, so they can sort of judge opinions or sort of gauge different opinions. So, what are your guys' thoughts on June's Today album? Do you like this style of R&B singing? Do you stand PLT? Please say yes. Do you want him to do more New Jack Swing? Also say yes. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And moving on to topic 4, closing out the show, we're going to do a bit of a discussion topic here. I usually like to do these to break up the monotony of album reviews. So we're going to do a bit of, I guess, show and tell, or just history on both Barron and Sam's K-pop history. So I actually really don't remember. I'm sure you guys have said it at one point or another, but I just don't remember it. So I will be interested in hearing your guys' story of how you got into K-pop, how you found us, how you, I don't know, just how you are with K-pop in general. So I guess, Sam, you can start us off.
Okay. So if you know Cooper's story, you pretty much know my story. It's very similar. So I was first introduced to K-pop back when I was in high school. Like there was like a 21 reality show or something that was like on my TV. And I was like, oh, it's K-pop. And I was into anime.
How did you get that?
I have no idea what channel this was on. I just happened upon it. And I was interested because I was watching K-dramas, I was watching anime. So I was like, K-pop. And I was immediately turned away by 21. And I didn't try K-pop. Like, not for me. Cool. And then like years later, like October 2016, the same thing with Cooper. BTS's Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That's what made me go like, oh, like I'm interested in this. So I remember it was like that. I want to say it was like also like Twice's Cheer Up and Blackpink's Playing with Fire. Like those were like my first like real introductions to K-pop. And so for a while I was really just like BTS. Like I was an ARMY. I was an ARMY for a while. Like they were my first albums I bought. And everything. And then I branched out more because I remember I was still listening to just BTS, and then like EXO's Monster just came on, like autoplay. And I thought it was a BTS song at first. I was like, oh my God, this is their best song. And then I realized it was EXO. And I was like,
oh no, that's going to piss off all the XOLs and ARMY are going to fight in the comments now.
I know.
How dare you?
But that's when I was like, oh my gosh, there are better groups out there. And so then I started getting into EXO, and I was loving EXO. Like, oh my gosh, like this is so good. And then from there, I think I went to GOT7. I mean, I didn't really go to GOT7 for the music. That was when I started watching reality stuff, and like GOT7 was hysterical. I loved it. And this is probably so funny for all the people in the Discord because I'm known for just really loving girl groups.
Yeah,
but like,
this is crazy for me. In all honesty, like, just hearing all this boy group love.
Yeah, I didn't like girl groups when I first got into it. Like, I was all about the guys. I think after GOT7, I went to 17. Like I was really hitting like all like the big like guy groups, third gen. And then I started, you know, getting more into like the second gen stuff, like Big Bang, Shiny. I have to like look at my collection to like remember. Like,
oh, please speak of your incredible collection here. I mean, you've got Nate and I beat, I think.
Almost. Oh yeah, me and Nate have like a competition. I feel like with our collections because I think I have to. I'm pretty positive I'm over 300 albums. It's gotten. Yeah, and my girl groups have finally beaten the guy groups, and like they've like way past the guy groups now in the number I have. I need to update my spreadsheet. I used to like actually keep track of it all. I should. And then I stopped. But I really have to get back on it because yeah, I don't really collect guy groups as often. I don't really I don't know when this happened, but I stopped liking like when I first came into the Discord, I was a guy group fan. Oh, I feel like I should say that I didn't even talk about them, but like my old guy group right now is Pentagon, and like I was a huge Pentagon like nut for a while. Like Shine is still like my song of last year. I think it's one of the greatest songs to ever be written in K-pop. I love that song. I'm a huge E'Dawn fan, but now so I was heartbroken when that happened. It actually happened on my birthday when that whole announcement happened. I was like, worst birthday present ever. But and I'm actually going to see Pentagon on my birthday this year.
Nice.
Really funny. Yeah. So then for the girl groups, it started off with Red Velvet. Well, I guess it really started off with like Twice. Like Twice was my first like introduction to girl groups.
That's a lot of people's introduction.
They were cute. And like I was so cliche boy group stand up. Like I don't like the cute girl groups. Like I'm like I like my girl groups edgy. I don't want to be like making fun of anyone who thinks this way. Like I was there. I get it.
Oh no, we can.
Like, you haven't opened your eyes yet to the cute girl group concept. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's funny because you're like the patron saint of cutesy girl groups at this point.
I know. Like I preach it like all the time. So it's really funny to just think of like how I started because like my old girl groups were Red Velvet and EXID, and like I liked them more for like the edgier, like more sexy. I still really love sexy concept for girl group. I'm not a huge fan of girl crush concepts as much. I was into it like at first. Now I think it's become overdone, and I don't care for it as much. But yeah, Red Velvet was the big girl group that I love. I love Red Velvet. They are my number one group. I guess they're kind of tied for number one now. I'm in a weird position now with my old girl group because in the Discord, I'm definitely known for being the Oh My Girl fan. Like I love Oh My Girl. They're now tied, I guess, with Red Velvet for number one. Like I went to their concert when they toured in the US. I went to
Why did they come to New York?
That would have been a lot more convenient for me as well.
I would have gone. I would have spent so much money to see them because I was such a big fan of theirs, like stretching from like Pink Ocean. So
awesome. I flew out to California. My mom lives in California, so I stayed with her. We had a drive because it was like in India. It was like Coachella area in the desert.
That's literally the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it was at
there's nowhere to stay.
Was that a casino?
Yeah, it was at a casino, and I'm so glad I did that stop because on the tour, the concerts were only like I don't know, like either like an hour and a half long, and then like the India one was 30 minutes longer. And I was like, wait, does this mean we're getting more songs? And sure enough, we had an entirely different set list Like,
Oh wow.
oh yeah, and I should probably also say I was front row for this concert.
Yeah,
I got front row and like the VIP package, meet and greet, everything. So I got to do the high touch. I took a photo with them. It was incredible. And I
wanna take a
also
photo.
won a signed photo there because I guess the VIPs were like entered into this. So I got a signed Polaroid of Binny, who she's my second, or she's tied for second.
Oh,
And,
Vinny's my bias probably. So
Yeah, Binny's my mom's bias. That was the other thing. I went with my mom. We were front row together. She had never listened to K-pop. It's me and her and a bunch of older men. It was great.
that'd be me. That'd be like me. I'm like it's like I don't know, just like weird random ass dudes
Yeah.
that just go see girl groups, I guess. So
Yeah, but yeah, we got this entirely new set list. It was awesome. Like we got one step, two step, which is like my favorite. One of my
that is a
favorite
top 5 K-pop song of all time.
I love that song. Yeah, we got so much. We got a Yua solo stage. She did Havana, and I have a fan cam of that on YouTube.
Like everyone, like literally everyone does
Yeah.
freaking Havana cover stages
Yep.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Yua's spot was like right in front of me in that concert, so I had so much interaction with her. And Yua's my bias at this point. Like she is hands down my bias.
Yeah, you've literally
Yeah.
had an interaction with her. Like if she wasn't your bias, like I don't know.
At that point, she was tied with Hyo. But like I didn't get much from Hyo that concert, so I'm like, okay, Yua's number one now. I did get a selfie of Hyo though. She did take my phone at one point as well. I got Yua, Hyo, Binny, and Arin. Like those are the 4 I got. And then I got a Jiho, just like she bent down and like waved.
Oh,
And then I think I got a Mimi like peace sign. I got nothing from Sungi.
damn.
Me and
cold.
her were not on good terms. She gave me nothing. But I remember like in the first song, they did Secret Garden, and Yua just like waves to me in the first song. I was like, this is gonna be an amazing night.
It's
And
gonna be
it
the best
was.
concert.
It was. And yeah, overall that was like an amazing concert. And Oh My Girl is like shot up now to like number 1. Because Oh My Girl is, I think, a funny story for me. Because like I didn't care for them for a while. Like I was just like, they're a cute girl group back when I didn't. I was naive then, you know. And I Remember Me came out and I was obsessed. Like I was just like, whoa. Like I think it was like the Binny part when they did it, when it sounded like there wasn't a chorus, and then like Binny just repeats like the first part. I was like, this is incredible. This is amazing. And so I went back and I listened to all their songs. And I had that moment of like, when a group comes out with that one song that you just love,
Yeah.
you're obsessed with it, and you go back and you just have like this new appreciation of all their other stuff that
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, some of the stuff I hadn't even heard. Like my only other like Oh My Girl songs I really knew were like Secret Garden and Bam and Liar Liar. Like those are all I really knew.
Wait, did you not know Closer?
No, not at that
Yeah,
point.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Closer's like one of the songs.
I know. So yeah, Cupid, I remember I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I mean, that is like my sound, like the like new goo kind of girl group debut song. Like I love
Yeah.
Cupid, like songs that sound like that. So yeah, now I'm like huge Oh My Girl fan. Been branched. I'm trying to think what other groups I like. I'm looking at my collection. Really into Promise. Love Promise. The whole Discord loves Promise.
Yep.
They're
the
awesome.
best. Stand Promise.
Stanford was 9, definitely.
Yeah, I love Luna. Like Luna's good. I have a ton of Luna albums. My gosh.
Oh, me too. My
Yeah,
wallet.
you have more than
My
me. I
fucking
think.
wallet, man. God.
Yeah, it's ugh. Yeah, I love Wuju Sonya. I have a lot of theirs. I've finally gotten into Twice. Took me a while, but now I'm there. I don't like Blackpink. I feel like I'm also known for that in the Discord. I don't like Blackpink. I don't really like
Fully on
YG.
board with this. Yeah, same.
Oh yeah, that's right. Me and you
Yeah.
were like the two people were like,
Yeah.
no, not
Me too. Me
Pass.
too. Though. Like
Yeah.
I can't at some points, and I get crucified for it on the internet. And now you're welcome to join in my suffering.
Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna get so many comments of all the things
How
I've said.
dare you? They're queens.
Yeah. Let's see. Recently, I guess it's been a few months now. I've been trying to get into second gen girl groups. Love FX. Like FX was another group for the longest time. I was like, I hate FX. Like, I didn't like Electric Shock. I think that's what made me go like, I don't like FX.
Electric Shock is like their song, I guess, at this point. Like
I know, and I think that's why I didn't like them, because that's the song that's like associated
for. Yeah. I mean, that's it's their most popular one, but even like as someone that's listened to like FX pre like Electric Shock and post Electric Shock, there's more stuff I liked better than that song. So
yeah, and I like Electric Shock now. I have their Japanese concert DVD, Docking Station. Very good performance of that. Like, first off, everyone should just watch that concert. It's amazing. Okay. The red light like rock version, Luna just goes off. It's amazing. Like, it's such a good concert DVD. I mean, there's some awkwardness in it because like Sully's not there, so they randomly like will have like a backup dancer be Sully. Weird.
I mean, like, at some point, Sully just became a backup dancer with FX.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Hard truth there. Sorry, but
and then lately, really got into Girls' Generation, which it's funny. Took long enough. Like, especially I've been listening to this podcast for like so long. And didn't know.
How did you even get into like Shirley Daebak, or how did you find us? How did you find like the community?
Umu helped you guys, I think, with the YouTube algorithm.
Thank you.
That's how I found out. It was recommended, and I saw Umu, and from React to the K. So I was like, oh, what is this? And so I think it was like the unpopular
K-pop opinion. Okay, that's like their most viewed video. So
I think that was the video that popped up, and I watched it, and I just started listening because I like. Well, for one, I don't really have K-pop friends like in the area, so I don't have many people to talk to about it, and I just enjoy listening to people talk. I think it's like I like doing that more than listening to music in my free time.
Okay.
So I would just like play you guys like I was getting ready or just like before work. And I learned a lot that like you guys have become like a big part of my K-pop knowledge and like finding other groups and just knowing some history stuff. So that was pretty much how I found you guys. And then you guys kept talking about the Discord. So I remember I was like, oh, I should do that. Like, I don't have K-pop friends. Like, this could be a way to like meet people. And when I joined, well, for one, you guys had like the card logo on there, and I was like, wow, is this the Discord?
That's when we still liked card. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's when I still liked card. I mean, Nate and Jacob will like, stand card until death, but.
And like, there are only like 11 people in the Discord. And I just...
It's definitely blown up since then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We're like over 100 now. I mean, there's not 100 people talking, but there's 100 now. Yeah, so I joined.
Keep in mind, Nate didn't want a Discord at first. I was telling him from like day one, like he was like, I feel like the Facebook group is going to be the best option for us. Cause I mean, like we found ourselves through, each other through like the Kind of Funny Facebook group. So we felt that was be the most effective means of sort of setting up a community. But I'm just like trying to instill it into him, just like, yo, Discord is where you make communities nowadays. Like that is literally like, it's like Facebook, Reddit, like YouTube comments, and I don't know, like live chat, Twitch chat all at once. And I'm just like, that's where you like hone communities in. And I'm just like, I never expected like our Discord community to ever like blow up to the degree that it is now. I'm pretty impressed in that sort of way. And you've definitely been a big part of that, just doing song ratings and all. You work harder than we do at some points. I don't know why we don't pay you. Why do you do this?
Yeah, the song rating thing is funny of how that even started, because it's like there was a Reddit thing that did it. It was like
it wasn't even the K-pop subreddit. It was
our pop heads. Yeah, pop heads did it.
Are you do you guys go on pop heads? Because I honestly don't. Because I mean I don't really listen.
I don't. But
it's just like all Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm just like, okay. I don't listen to her music all that much, but I mean I know Cooper's really into her. But I mean that's funny that pop heads and K-pop.
They've been trying to get me into CRJ.
I think Coop and I are like the two big CRJ advocates on the server, or like American pop in general. Coop and I both like it, and no one else does.
Well, me to some degree. Yeah, like I'm usually with American music. It's one extreme for another. It's just like some pop artists and then just like hardcore freaking hip hop stuff. So nothing in between. But I mean, Yeah, I'm glad that we decided to take you on as a mod because one, there's a lot of people, and two, you do a lot of stuff for like song ratings or whatever. But
Yeah, I needed to pin things. That was the big.
you needed to
I
pin
think,
things.
I think I did like one or two. The first two song ratings were just so badly done. Like looking back, like one, like my spreadsheet for the first rating was terrible. One, we did the form as well, the Google
Oh
form.
yeah, the Google Forms.
And like those were awful because they would lose people's results.
Okay.
It was a mess.
Like
And,
Marlon
yeah.
redoing it like 3 times. For
Oh
Yeah,
no.
and it was already like the due date.
Yeah.
It's like he's doing it. Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. And like the PowerPoint for the first one's so ugly. It's just so gross looking. And yeah, I couldn't pin things. And like I was hand typing everything because this was before
God.
Nate made the script for it. Like bless him for like
I mean,
making that.
that's his job. I mean, just like doing all the crazy coding shit that I don't understand. So
Yeah, I've got a lot of people that like help me out behind the scenes now. Whereas like, yeah, the first time it was like all me. Now I've got like Fleur, she helps me a lot with finding songs. Like bless that, because I remember the first one I like failed because I didn't know any. It was second gen girl groups. I didn't know anything about second gen girl groups.
yeah, so it's
So I'm
hard
like trying to find these songs. Yeah, and then all these people are just like, oh, I can't believe you forgot the song. Why didn't you include it? I'm like,
Don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's like a week before it's due. I'm like, yeah, that still happens though. We'll like put it out like a month in advance, and then like 2 days before it's due, someone has to go, wait, why wasn't this included? We're like, we didn't know, we just missed it. But yeah, so I've got Fleur helps with that. Jade helps me with the PowerPoints now. It's so helpful. The PowerPoints are like the thing I have the least motivation for. Because it's like after a song rating's done, I am done. Like I'm like
too much work. Yeah, you're doing homework at this point. Like I thought I was crazy doing like releases spreadsheets and shit. So.
Yeah, I mean I enjoy it. Like it's all an Excel spreadsheet, and I love Excel. Like I'm all about it.
I don't know.
I love all this.
Why do people love Excel? I hate Excel.
If this could be my job, I would be happy. Like. And I love just kind of like managing it all, like telling people what to do. Like
oh, you like being you're the truly Daebak
like,
manager.
I think it's fun. Like even though I always kind of play off that I'm just annoyed and I hate everyone because they're always like yelling and like because like it gets so chaotic, you know, every rating, and I like that mode of just like I hate all of you guys, but like I love it. I think it's really fun, and it's really brought a community, I think, to the Discord.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
It's funny,
that
like
participate.
thinking of members of the Discord. Like I don't remember like any of them before the song. Like the song ratings
yeah,
like getting personality
brings people into
like
that sort of space.
Yeah, like before that, the only person like people I really remember is like I remember Rob, just because Rob always is Rob's Rob. And I remember Flixer. Like those were the two I remember like pre song rating. But yeah,
I mean, and us, like, do you not like remember? Like, it's like
I mean,
I'm in this random Discord with people I don't even listen.
The only people that really talk, like Cooper, has always talked. I think
course.
Cooper was like the first one that said hi to me, and then Jacob as well. I feel like you never talk. You still never talk.
Yeah.
Nate used to not talk. He didn't start talking more until the song rating. I remember. I noticed that. But yeah.
Moral of the story is join Discord.
Yeah,
join Discord, definitely. So, Barron, what is your sort of K-pop story and like how you found us and just everything that you'd like to talk about?
Sure. So I'm 28 now, so I've been in K-pop for a while. I got into K-pop when I was in college back in early 2011.
So same year as me.
Yeah, it's actually very similar to Nate's story. At the time, it was like right when the video game StarCraft 2 came out. So like I bought like the collector's edition of StarCraft 2. I was like playing online. I was watching like streams of the pro players, and there was one stream in particular. His name is Huck.
And I know Huck. Oh my god.
Yeah, and he always played K-pop on his channel. And like the first time I heard it, I was like, "What is this? Like, I don't understand why anyone would like this." And then, like he kept playing it, and sometimes at the beginning I would like mute his stream and just play my own music. But eventually, I kind of like warmed up to it, and then I remember watching like a tournament of StarCraft 2, and they had the musical guest for the the tournament was Secret, and they performed the song Shy Guy. And if you've ever heard the song Shy Guy,
My cat.
oh yeah, yeah,
Shy Guy.
It's a very like super sweet song, and it was so different than anything I'd ever heard before. It was like, holy crap, like I actually kind of like this, and I was kind of like embarrassed that I liked it, because I was like more into like metal and like heavy rock and that kind of stuff at the time.
Like, everyone gets into K-pop as a guilty pleasure. Like no one admits that they like it at first.
So then that motivated me to start like looking up stuff on YouTube, and so I started going through the backlog of a bunch of different groups. It was all girl groups at the time, and of course, at this point, like 2011, I came across Girls' Generation's G, and I was like, this song is a masterpiece. This is so good. And then I heard Genie after that, and I was like, Genie is even better than G. Like, what is going on here? So at that point, I immediately became like a hardcore Sone. So wow. See, I
used to call him Sone too.
Yeah.
Like I used to call it. Because I had no one to talk to, so I'm just like, how the fuck do I pronounce this?
So that's been like a recurring problem of mine, is that I didn't start listening to like podcasts or anything until like last year. So I didn't really have anyone to talk to about anything.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of like really weird mispronunciations that I just assumed were correct, because I'd never heard anyone say anything different.
When I started, like, if you listen to early episodes, I call it a sase, or like sesong, or instead of saseng fans or whatever. I used to call like Eunha from G-Friend Yunha, because all of this is just like it's completely different rules than like what English is, so you just have no idea until you just get used to it. So
my big one was EXID. It was Exid.
Exid, yeah.
I think everyone does that.
It's Exid and BTOB instead of B2B, because you wouldn't normally think you pronounce the letter, then pronounce like two, and then pronounce the letter. Like it's like K-pop group names just are utter chaos in terms of like how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So like I don't blame you.
I only learned that Exid isn't Exid like a month ago. I still thought it was Exid until that recently.
Yeah, because I mean, you normally think it's just natural for you. There's no like dots in between to sort of indicate that you have to pronounce it like letter by letter. So
so I became like a huge Girls' Generation fan, and then their first Japanese album came out like that summer, and it was like really hardcore electropop, and I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Like
their Japanese music is god tier, essentially.
Yeah, that whole album was like, this is the first time I heard like I was really surprised by the quality of the entire album, and even like the Japanese remakes of the Korean songs were good.
Yeah.
So that immediately became like my favorite Girls' Generation album, and then I started looking up other artists. Like I started getting to like FX, still liked Secret, listened to all the Secret songs. And then started branching out a little bit into like some soloists at the time, but that didn't really happen until later. And then in the fall of 2011 is when The Boys came out, and The Boys became like, I really hated The Boys itself, but the rest of the album is fantastic.
Oh, so, yeah, it's so good.
And the Boys grew on me eventually, but like every other song on that album is just amazing. So I kept becoming bigger and bigger Girls' Generation fan. I was listening to their stuff all the time, but it was very much just like pop. It was like filling that pop niche for me, and I didn't really listen to much besides that. And then the following year, I forget, maybe February or so, that was when IU's Last Fantasy came out. And when the first time I heard Last Fantasy, I was like, whereas I always saw Girls' Generation as like really good K-pop, but it was always just like the asterisk next to it. So it wasn't just
K-pop as opposed to just like regular music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the first time I heard IU's Last Fantasy, I was like, oh man, this is actually like a just amazing piece of art.
Yeah.
And it instantly became my favorite album of all time. And I went through like IU's past albums, which there's only one full album at the time. But she became like my favorite artist. I streamed Last Fantasy an incredible amount of times over the next couple of years.
Just that one album over the next. Yeah. I mean, she had other releases, but she had like Chatshire and everything else after that.
Yeah. So, but that was my favorite album for many, many years. So I would always play to it like whenever I was like every week or every other week, I was like, oh man, I got to replay Last Fantasy again. So played that, was listening to a lot of Girls' Generation. I remember the first time I was still in college at the time when the TTS album came out.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I was so excited for an album that like I went to bed earlier and then like I set my alarm to wake up so I could wake up right when it came out. And I was like, oh man, like this is amazing. I'm here for it. And like the album tracks were fantastic. And there was like my 3 favorite members of Girls' Generation. So I was totally here for that. And at this point, I was still getting all of my K-pop news through the K-pop subreddit, which was obviously very like girl group dominant.
Focused. Yeah.
Not as much, especially back then. It was like much more skewed towards the male demographics.
Yeah, like
so like
Reddit was like 80% male or 90% male at one point.
Yeah, so I think it's like the K-pop subreddit specifically is more now like 50-50 now. So like the boy groups actually get some love there. But at the time, it was so focused on girls group that was all I listened to.
Because I mean, that was pre BTS blow up, so there wasn't really like I mean, Big Bang, but I mean, like, they didn't really, I'm sorry, but in terms of international pull at this point, like, they didn't have the same pull that, like, BTS has now, so there wasn't really, like, a online community of, like, I guess, boy group stans, other than maybe Twitter, but I mean, I didn't even know what stan Twitter was at that point, in all honesty, so I wish I could go back to where I didn't know what the hell stan Twitter was, but too late now.
Yeah. And then that I started dating someone who's also into K-pop. So she kind of exposed me to like a lot of the groups like Classified Project and Nell and a lot of the more indie stuff that I never got exposed to. And those became some of my most favorite artists and still are today. Listened to them a ton. And then my music knowledge kind of stagnated for a while. So I just kind of like listened to all the groups I was already listening to for many years. I still listen to K-pop. Like I've never taken a break from K-pop or anything. It's just that I only listen to it maybe like half of all of my total music.
And so you kind of like me, it's just like you diversify your listening so you don't get sick of it, or just like you don't, that sort of thing.
I still listen to like a lot of American music. Like I like a lot of like, you know, Kendrick Lamar, and I like Taylor Swift. I'm the only person on Discord that likes Taylor Swift.
Hey, my sister likes Taylor Swift, so you have something in common with her. She went to like her concert like 3 straight times, I remember.
like part of the reason my Discord icon is a snake is because of Taylor Swift. So fun fact for you guys.
So that's you're the Lord. That's the explanation behind Barron being a snake.
Oh, I thought it was because you were Slytherin.
It's also been it was a combination of my house, Harry Potter house is Slytherin. I really like Taylor Swift, and that was right when she was doing like the snake theme. And then I'm also on a basketball Discord, and I really hate Kevin Durant, and he's a snake.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's a snake.
So it was like the triple thing.
Can't win with these cats, man.
So listened to that for a long time. I got really into like a lot of female soloists. So all of Taeyeon stuff I love. IU obviously is my favorite artist. Lim Kim, her Goodbye 20 album is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yes. If we ever do a retro review of that, remind me to invite you back on, because we need to.
Of course.
With all the Lim. I mean, we don't score like retro reviews, but I mean, like with Lim Kim coming out of the ashes or out of the shadows at this point, I feel like we need to take a look back at her older music. So
as far as I am concerned, that comeback never happened. It just doesn't
exist. Just erased it from existence.
Yeah, exactly.
She's still hiding somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even think I listened to it because everyone just like shit on it. So I was like, I'm not going to listen to it.
That's literally like half the song. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, Lim Kim?
Yeah,
you were the chosen one.
Really bad, like Grimes impersonation or something.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
it's like I literally said on last week. It's like she's been listening to too much Grimes or like freaking like trying to be like Billie Eilish or something like that.
But and then I also like, as much as my reputation is on Discord for being like liking bangers and liking like up-tempo songs, I really like female ballad singers. Okay. So also like Lynn and Yuna and Lehigh, all those people are like some of my most played artists.
Yeah.
But didn't get into like any boy groups at all. So like if you look at my favorite songs of the year, I make favorite songs of the year going back to like when I got into K-pop. I'll bet you from 2011 all the way up until 2018, there's maybe 6 boy group songs total across all those years.
And there's a lot of boy group music that came out within like that 8-year period.
Yeah.
So
Some really good boy group music too.
yeah, some of the most
like some of the
iconic.
best.
Yeah.
So I only started getting into boy groups because of the Discord.
Okay.
Like Cooper's, like when I first joined, I muted the boy groups channel. I guess when they created the boy group channel, I muted it because I don't care about this. And then Cooper and Sam, I think specifically, and Jade too, were like really trying to get me to listen to a lot of boy group songs. I was like, okay, like I'll try it out. And then through the song ratings, we started listening to a lot of boy groups too. So I remember like as much hype as there was around BTS, I never really listened to BTS songs. And I really liked like a couple songs like Dope and Fire I liked, but I didn't really listen to like their full albums or anything. And then when we did the discography or the album, the rating for like 2014 to 2017 boy groups, whatever it was, time period.
The BTS, the one BTS was,
and I listened to all their title tracks. I was like, they are amazing. Like I so love all their title tracks, and I went back and listened to all their albums, and I think they're one of my most played artists for like this year, just because I've been listening to them a ton.
Yeah, they are really good. Like I still love BTS. I feel like I trash talk them a lot now, especially mostly to my friends, just because they know I like K-pop, so they're like, "Oh, BTS." I'm just
that's
still talk to me about
BTS. BTS has just become like the moniker, or like it's just like the only association people have with K-pop at this point. It's just freaking annoying.
Yeah,
when
them
there's
and now
just so much.
Blackpink.
Yeah,
like, I don't want
basically.
Blackpink talk either.
Yeah, it's just BTS and Blackpink are just like the faces of like stereotypical K-pop in most people's eyes at this point. So it's just like there's so much more to that, which is why I guess we come off a lot more harsh on them in some ways.
Actually, on that same topic, I remember when Psy's Gangnam Style came out, and like I saw it like the day it came out because it was on Reddit, and I was like, oh man, that's a fun music video. This is a really good song actually. And then like it kind of like died for a little bit, and then everybody started talking about it. And I was like, what is going on? Like, when I would say, like, if I ever talked with people who didn't like K-pop, they're like, oh yeah, I like Gangnam Style. And it's like, okay, sure. Like, but it's the first time I ever talked to people that were like aware of what K-pop was.
Yeah.
And it was pretty interesting. And by the way, the song is still a banger. I love that song.
Yep. It will never fade. It will never fade.
So yeah. Really into boy groups now, actually. So like a lot of my favorite songs this year are boy groups. We just did the Q1 ratings, and my favorite song is Valkyrie. I've been saying Stan Oneus the whole time.
Stan Oneus.
They're so good. They have so many good songs. Valkyrie, Song of the Year still. Fantastic. The way I actually found the Discord is shout out to Rob. He made a post on Reddit.
That's right.
There was a post that was like, what are some good K-pop podcasts? And I really like listening to podcasts. I listen to like, I don't know, 20 different podcasts.
Wow.
And
1.5 speed.
No, 1.75 speed.
Oh.
So you got to save time when you listen to that many podcasts. But I noticed, and this actually plays into why I like your podcast especially, is that because I listen to them on an increased speed, I can't listen to if they play music during it because the music sounds all distorted.
Yeah.
And a lot of other K-pop podcasts play like snippets of songs, and it's just unlistenable to me. So like I would just like skip those. And then I got down to your podcast from Rob's post listing a bunch of podcasts. And I was like, oh man, these guys actually seem pretty chill. I like their opinions. They're very reasoned. I can listen to it and it sounds okay. And then you guys started saying join the Discord, and I was already using Discord for gaming and for basketball. So I was like, sure, I'll join the Discord, see what's going on. And it's become like a really good community. It's fun to like see all the different characters and interactions and stuff. And it's really helped me find a lot of new music now, because there was just so much stuff that, because I only got stuff from Reddit, and it was only like even if I saw boy group stuff that was upvoted, I would just like ignore it. But now it's like, if people are saying like, oh man, you need to listen to this song, you need to listen to this, it's a great album, like I'll go and check it out. And like it's really broadened my consumption of K-pop. And it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's a really big thing with Discord is it's been getting a lot of people who usually stay in their lane, so to speak, to just sort of branch out. Even me, like to some degree. I mean, I do have as much as I try to see everything like a fucking madman. I like when it's releases, I don't sleep. I really don't sleep because I have to look up like 300 different songs every month. But yeah, Discord definitely sort of helps me gauge or just helps expose me to a lot of that stuff. And I do rely on it at this point to just like get exposed to music that we have to cover on here and that sort of thing. So I'm glad. That's the one thing I do like about like the community we've set up, where there's a lot more like intermingling, whereas opposed to most people usually just sort of stay, I like this specific boy group or boy groups in general, or this specific girl groups in general, etc. Yeah, there's a lot more like crossing of streams, so to speak, definitely within our Discord. I think that's kind of unique to our sort of little community, because usually it's just like, okay, we're in the new us Discord, or the, I don't know if there's a one us Discord or something like that. There's usually there's
no idea.
It's usually specifically like tailored towards groups, but whereas ours I feel like is a lot more welcoming to general just K-pop music. And because I try to like vary everything we cover on here just because I want to like reach out to more people, or just see like what kind of like, I guess, sort of engagement we can get in terms of like what our opinions are. So yeah, I'm glad that actually ended up like being such a good resource for everyone, even myself included. So is that a thing though, like to listen to podcasts at one point, whatever speed? Because Fleur says the same thing. I'm just like, what? Like I don't do that normally. So
it wasn't something I started with. I started at like 1.0 speed, and then I like slowly ramped it up because it sounds like people are talking very slowly once you get used to them talking a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, how is it listening to Andrew talk at a normal
how's it
speed?
listening to me at regular speed right now? Should I be speaking like this?
It sounds. I admit it sounds very different, because like even when I watch YouTube videos, because the podcasts don't get uploaded until later in the week, so when I watch the individual YouTube segments, I put them at 1.75 speed. So like I'm very used to like you sounding a certain way, and you sound like much more like chill now.
Whereas I usually just sound super hyper.
It just sounds crazy. It just goes off.
And I credit the Discord because the first K-pop concert I ever went to was Red Velvet this year, and I met.
Wait, that was your first? What?
Yeah. So I'd never been to any K-pop concert before, and I wasn't going to go to this one, even though it was like only across.
Yeah,
the
you like were able to easily get there.
But Nate and you were both like, you like Suga, you got to go. Like, you got to see her. So I was like, sure, I'll go. So then we were going to meet up with Nate, but then Nate couldn't make it. So then still got to meet the four of you, three of you, I guess. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and looking forward to going to KCON.
KCON. Yeah, it's definitely really exciting. Yeah.
KCON. Yeah,
like,
should be exciting.
Another cool thing about the Discord is like, because I feel like a lot of K-pop fans have this of like, we want to go to concerts, but like we don't have a friend who wants to go with us. So I usually have lucked out. I think for the most part, I can get someone to go with me. I have like two friends that like are kind of into K-pop. Like I have a friend who likes BTS. Then there's Dylan who he'll just go to whatever. And then like I went to California and I went to concerts with my mom, which is funny. Like she's going to Pentagon with me. Should be a great time. And then like with the Red Velvet, I was able to go with my brother and my sister-in-law, because my brother like somehow started getting into K-pop. Like you two recommended like twice to him. And no, he got into EXO first. And he was like, he told me casually, like, so I've been listening to EXO. And I was like the K-pop group? He's like, yeah. I was like, whoa, wait, like I have so many questions now. And then like, he started getting into Twice. And then I was like, listen, you should listen to Red Velvet because they're going to be coming here soon. And he really liked Red Velvet. He ended up like not being able to go to the actual concert, but I still got the ride up to New Jersey. And so to be able to like meet you guys, like I think that's just a cool part of the Discord of like, we have a whole group going to KCON together. So like it's fun to like, have someone to go to the concerts with. You can like find people to maybe like even have like a place to stay. I think it's really cool to like have that. So especially because like with the New York ones, like I can easily just take the train up there, and now I can just like meet up with one of you guys because you live there, which was before like that'd be so scary for me just going up there by myself and like not knowing what to do.
Anyone, we don't bite. Except for Barron. We make that joke like 3 straight weeks now. But I don't think I've ever really like it's weird for me just because I got into K-pop through other people that I was friends with. So the concept of, though I am familiar with the concept of, I'm going to a concert alone, I wish I went with friends sort of thing, just because like the person that got me into K-pop, my friend Kim, only really liked specific like groups. Like she was like really big into like, I don't know, like EXO. So anything that wasn't really EXO or whatever, she wouldn't go to. So yeah, I mean, I'd make friends at the concerts. That's how I met like Aubrey Page, like a bunch of other people that I sort of know like tertiarily through like YouTube stuff and everything. Basically just what I do, like I stopped doing like concert vlogs or whatever, but that'd be a way to make friends. That's how I make friends. I promise people fame and fortune and never upload the videos because it's so much editing work and I have no time for that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And also we just keep getting nuked. Yeah. That's the thing. We definitely like, yeah, that's why we don't do it anymore. But I think that's probably a good place to leave the topics. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are definitely a big part of our community now at this point, being mods and just doing a lot of stuff. So I'm glad that we got you on here. All your stories were definitely interesting, and I hope everyone else listening to this it was interested as well. Definitely give a lot of love to these guys for coming in on such short notice to fill in for the DaebakCast. I guess that. Yeah, I mean, no, don't never apologize for your scores. I think that's the one thing I love also about our community is that we don't have to automatically like everything and we don't automatically have to hate everything. We can just
it's a great part of the Discord too. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you just do this shit on Twitter, it's like canceled.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that we don't have a big like Twitter following because like some of the shit I say on here would just get me like doxxed immediately. So, I guess that'll end it for episode 124 of the DaebakCast. If you liked it, please leave a like. That really helps for our visibility. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever a new video pops up, because sometimes they don't pop up in the feed. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Like I said, you can go listen to us on podcast services of your choice. Please follow us on Twitter, or if you want to reach us, the easiest, you can tweet at Truly Daebak, or you can reach me at my Twitter, though I don't really use it. I just use the Truly Daebak Twitter as my Twitter. Even if it's just not K-pop stuff, I'll just tweet it because no one uses it. It's literally just me tweeting random shit and Nate just like posting, like Nate's the one that posts like all like the up like the new topics or whatever. And then Jacob sometimes posts some stuff in Korea, so I just try to keep it interesting. You guys don't have all too much social media stuff, so if you want to say hi to Sam or Barron, please join our Discord. Again, it's mucho lit and you can interact with them. They're always on and they're very friendly and welcoming, I think.
Try to be.
No, try to be, yeah. And again, Sam does the song ratings, so that's a really fun sort of group activity you participate in. Any closing thoughts from either of you guys?
I don't
Stream
know.
Valkyrie.
Stream
Sure
Valkyrie.
that. Join the Discord, make friends, find new artists. Yeah.
So
Excellent.
yeah, I guess that'll do it. Thank you for listening. And good night. It's weird because it's usually Jacob that takes it out, and I do the Stay Creamy variant. But it's me taking it. So yeah. Anyway, thank you. Good night. Stay mucho lit.
Stay throbbingly lit.
Oh God, not you too.
And this is 100% NCT doing a Shiny song. Literally everything oozes Shiny. It's got like funky electronic instrumentals. The group vocal chorus, like there's a weird instrumental section before the chorus. Just tons of crazy synths happening. It's very